Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, right at the South. On the beat. To get your information. For the food to be part of the Spoon television. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. You just spoon, you ain't know. The children crying for starvation, just don't spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, don't spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, don't spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just don't spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, don't spoon. Don't spoon. All right, folks, what a way to welcome you to Spoon. If you want to know what is happening in Liberia, what's happening across the ministries, the agencies, if you want to know what the policymakers are doing, just tune to Spoon. This is where you get the news, the update, the views, the analysis, all in one full package here every single day. The Spoon Talk connects Liberians irrespective of where you are. If you're in Liberia, in the diaspora, you can always listen to Spoon or watch Spoon. That's why we are live across the Spoon network on Spoon FM 107.5. We're live on Fabric Radio 101.1 across several other frequencies in Liberia. Thanks to the Voice of Liberia. Always relaying the program thanks to a host of radio stations across the country as well, making sure that Liberians are informed irrespective of where they are across the borders of Liberia. So welcome to the show. My name is Nelson Collier, and this edition of Spoon Talk promises to be very informative. A lot happening across the country, full analysis and updates, and all of those major happenings coming your way very shortly. So yes, let me also welcome our online audience. We ask you to kindly share the show as you join us. All of the folks joining us from YouTube, from Facebook, across our different social media handles. I want to say welcome to the show tonight. So we're going to go to the phone lines as we always do, and take your calls tonight. Let's hear what your thoughts are. What is it you want to talk about tonight? Health, education. I mean, just anything that is of concern to you. The first segment, or the What's on Your Mind segment of the program, is dedicated to you, our ardent listeners and viewers across the world, to share your thoughts on those different issues that are of concern to you. So we're going to open the lines now. Take your calls. 0555-101075 is the number to call tonight, and you'll be live on the program. Let's go to the phone line. Take our first caller here. Hello, your name and where you joining us from?
Nathan?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, my name is Abraham Keita, calling from Broville.
Keita, it's good to have you on. What's on your mind?
Yeah, what is on my mind is about the road that people facing on the road here.
The road.
They matching the road from people to Simple Bridge. We're talking about 1 year plus now. 1 year plus, the people just on the small road. They will do a small defense, and now small traffic will getting back to really see. And the whole on the side of the road is giving the journey. So they will do it. Just when we're marching from people to Super Bridge, they're going to 2 year plus. If they cannot make it, then it will tell us we'll go to 3 years.
Okay.
And the wasting time, the people, they're doing no work on the road. They will just kind of do small things they deep it. They leave BB hole, and now so much traffic will be taking anything for now. We're getting to USA is noticing the feet and the rain falling. It will disturb the driver and also the business people as well.
All right, thank you. Thanks a lot for your input. 0555101075. Let's see if we take another person here. Hello. All right, so we lost that person. Let's do this one. Hello. Your name and where you calling from? Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, this person. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you joining us from?
My name is Daniel Fidi. I call you from District 10, the Mosquito Last District.
The what?
District 10, the Mosquito Last District.
Okay, what's on your mind? Let's hear you.
Thanks very much for this evening. What's on my mind is the issue about lawmakers, dissatisfied lawmakers, disenchanted lawmakers who are in the House and claiming that they are good lawmakers, and they rely on other people to come to prominence.
Okay.
Friend Foucault was on air this afternoon claiming that the yellow machine that came, they are use yellow machine. I understand his frustration because their frustration was that this yellow machine wouldn't have come. There were no way for those machines to have come in Liberia, and today they are seeing some of them, and they are going for the rest of them. So this afternoon, he said on OKFM that these machines, they are used machines. In fact, they are sending delegation to China to investigate, and he will come back. So I hope that when they come back, they will shouldn't bring lies to the people. In fact, that lawmaker from district number 9 is not. I don't think he's going to go back.
Thank you.
Because thank you very much.
Thank you for your input. 0555101075. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. It's good to have you on. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much. I'm Abraham K. Dupley, call from Busha, I'm a former police officer.
Abraham, what's on your mind?
Abraham K. Dupley.
Yeah, let's hear you. What's on your mind?
I'm a former police officer.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a special appeal. I want 200 persons to please help me push my agenda, and they are CEO Spoon Network, Mr. Waterspoon, and Honorable Brandon Samakai, the former defense minister. What helps me or pains me, for which I am appealing to them, is that somewhere in the late 1960s and early 1960s, Brazil did something very important. They built a city called Brasilia. My father has lectured me about this city since in the 70s when I was a boy. We have 285 machines. I want to appeal to Honorable Samakai, distributing these machines to villages and towns. May that help us. They started from scratch and they built Brasilia for an aeroplane, a beautiful city of today's date. I want to appeal to the Liberian government through these honorable men to push my voice that we start a new city. My father told me that President William Aaron Sabah Jr. had that intention. Somewhere between Bum County and Nimba County. I'm appealing to everybody to join me. If all Maria from 1822 cannot do us a new capital that worthy of modern time, I'm appealing to these two persons, especially Mr. Waterspoon, to bring on his platform for public discussion to develop a new capital. Thank you for affording me the time.
Thank you very much for your input. 0555101075. Hello, your name and where you joining us from? Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Lasana.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Yeah, they called me on the road, appealing to the government for the government to pay the road for all the roads pouring our hand.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your input. This person, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, you're live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is P.D. Kiase, calling you from the clinic to be specific, the old field Luster Tower.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, my concern has to do with rail, chief.
What happened to rail?
We that riding the keke and the motorboat, we can be so much embarrassed because rail, everybody get bloodshed. We can't identify which of the security sector they come from. they get jumping from Keke to Morobo, we can be so embarrassed. So we are currently asking the referee or president that is to inspect radar to know whether you are police or not. If you are not police, if you are police ill, they put you where you're supposed to be because radar is occupied with a lot of bloodshed.
You know, but just talking about the police aid thing, the last appearance with the leadership of the police, the IG, the 101, 102, they disclosed that there's nothing such as police aid, you know, so you're either a legitimate police officer or you are not a police officer at all. So they root out the whole legitimacy of police aid.
To be really honest to you, most of them are not a police officer. Let me be honest with you. And they are just from Moroba to Keke. From Moroba to Keke. They just get there right in the end. When any investor comes, because actually, sorry for the most of them are not conducive. They don't represent the security sector. So when any investor look at all and people, the bad image of the security sector will be gone. So please, let the police come and do something for us. Let the report people that have to be in radar, let it be there.
Thank you. Thank you for your input. Hello, your name and where you joining us from? Let's hear you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, you're live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, message. This is Dolo, and I do join you from my message.
Let's hear you, Dolo.
I just want to say thanks to those young guys in local country who turned up today to defend their sovereignty. Today, it was the number of young people that turned up, the crowd was unprecedented. Where in things that the armed forces of Liberia couldn't do today, you see young people from Lofa, they stood their ground to defend their sovereignty. I want to say kudos to the people of Lofa and more especially in Foya. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your input. So we'll take more of your calls. 0555 101075 is the number to call. Hello.
Hello, Baba.
Yeah, hello, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah. But what happened to the electricity factory to you? Since the president announced that road should be well constructed, almost 1.5 years ago, the road like that. What happened? What happened to the public administration? Yeah. Besides that, the road at the opening that comes to the ministry. Ministry is coming. Any car that comes from Jalata to come on Kota Road, it will not marry the Kota Road. Besides that, our foreign policy is weak. Foreign policy, say again for the service. Our foreign policy is just weak and for the diplomat sake. So we need to talk about foreign policy. Our foreign policy is reform. That's the reason why they can overload Nigeria. We need to reform the foreign policy. And William T. was coming from right here. Thank you very much.
William, thank you very much for your input tonight. We appreciate you. Let's take this person. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Damo.
This is Nelson. Good evening.
Yeah, Nelson, how you doing, man? How about it, Nelson?
I'm okay, sir. How are you?
Nelson, I'm fine, man. I'm doing great. But man, I'm a CEO, man. There's still water sport.
Yeah, the CEO is okay. He's doing good.
Yeah. This is the boys of Sabu Rasta, Nelson. I'm joining you from Point 4, Nelson, from Zimbabwe.
Oh, Sabu Rasta. It's good to have you on. Let's hear you.
Yeah, nothing forget about me.
No, definitely. We definitely have to compare the notes.
But I know that I believe in you, man. I trust your ability. You know, everybody on the phone now, well, you know, they are credible people.
Yeah,
I can remember. But you know, on my mind.
No.
They actually coming from the chief justice. Why is saying that our law, and you know, if the freedom and speech come with responsibility, nothing. We're not small children here. I just try to tell the chief justice to them. Let me ask Abu Raza. I don't support people calling on the stage of the new driver, attacking people, man, attacking people, no. Let me get the issue constructively. You get me, nothing.
Yeah.
But last statement I came with the chief justice telling people say, oh, I want law to protect driver, this, that, other, but nothing. Too much honestly the law, we know what the law for. So if the teacher they feel that you can intimidate because they want use for a case as president case because you know that the Supreme Court always do a president case, that teacher they play fair. Let me tell you, you go and tell you that the Supreme Court say you play fair, you can never tell them to go for us in the cover of law. You have to also have to rescue. You got to rescue on that. You don't say yeah, they got to rescue on yeah. Thank you.
Okay, this person. Hello, your name and where you joining us from? Let's hear you.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. This is Mr. Boy speaking.
Mr. Boy, it's good to have you. What's on your mind?
This is district number 9, New Matari ST this evening.
Okay.
What on my mind this evening is what the Guinean government sat down, looking at us, thinking that some of us are not, we are not and we are heavy, while sending troops across from Guinea to Liberia to come get land. Is it fair? Today in Lofa, people are not in peace. Why do people have to leave from Guinea and cross the borderline? Come and pull their flag up. Lesson today. If you could see Liberia had 2 flags, Guinea and Liberia. Where are we? If we mind their politics, we don't come together as unit to defend their nation tomorrow. It means Liberia will be wiped out. They started it with Soliu. Soliu stood up, fought for their land. And they are now in your own country. Today we sit now here speaking on spoon. We are happy. But these guys are making us to feel bad because we're able to be doing these things. So I'm appealing to the government. I'm appealing to the nation. Please, Liberian government, you see after A, let somebody go tomorrow to Foya, whatsoever that happened there, let it tell us. Or else, then they want for someone else to leave the town and go to Lofa way. We will not sit down. This conference for Liberia for every one of us.
Well, thanks a lot for your input. Thanks for your concern as well. But the latest update on that is that the situation has been resolved to an extent. The Guinean soldiers who crossed over and hosted the Guinean flag in that part of Lofa County have returned. And so calm is being restored to that part of the country. You know, but I know that there will be more details on that once the CEO and the rest of the team come up. But thank you, we appreciate you.
All right, okay,
yeah,
okay, merci.
All right, thanks a lot for your input.
I'm not in peace this tonight. I'm not in peace. I love this country, Liberia. I can't go anywhere.
Thank you very much for your input. We took another person. Hello, your name and where you call from?
I say good evening.
Good evening. Let's hear you.
Thank you. Sekou Fofana is my name, member of United Party Intellectual Bureau in Nigeria tonight. Nancy, I listen to. Are you getting me? Sorry, sir. I listen to Safoko day after new on OK conversation. Fogo was talking about they come go China, they go Fano, whether how the government are. So Foco, let me say this to CDC fools. That one you waste your time to go China and know how acquire. Go to your country. Go tell the people say your money will the yellow machine. Because they yellow machine fire they upset. They get away and see the last bad of the yellow machine. By the time they will get to know. Because there's the people like as they know they will say that fly will not come. Then they see later they say they won't go to China. They waiting their turn because they know that they yellow machine there. They upset and they confused. They leave still.
Thank you very much for your input. Sim, we lost you. Let's take this person. Hello, your name and where you joining us from. Let's hear you. Hello.
Hello, brother Nelson. I'm Pete. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. You're live. Let's hear you.
Okay. I'm P. Jimmy Kofa.
Yeah, Jimmy Kofa. Go ahead.
On my mind. Yeah. What on my mind this afternoon is this evening is that something Brother Stephen said the other time, that I mean, during Jawea time, they did not break people's houses down that are in the outlet way. They didn't bring them and so forth and so forth. Listen, if the streets are not paved, we will be the same people again to say the government, since 1847, have not paved these roads or these streets. So what he's talking about, when I heard that day, I said, hey, the reason here is that once, like me, houses are on my houses, whenever I bought sand or rocks, we got to dump them far off, and I pay other people to carry them to my house. And people build right in front of my house, my own land. And so what we are talking about, the government, those are on the alleyway, they should remove them on the land that bought their land. If they stay there after 5 years, and anybody comes to clean the land, they should let them even negotiate as well. But they shouldn't break people outside like that. That's what on my mind this evening, sir.
Thank you very much for your input. We appreciate you, sir. Let's take this person. Hello, your name and where you joining us from? Let's hear you. Hello.
Yeah, my name is Johnny Hememba. I call you from Philippines.
Go ahead, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah. What is on my mind has to do with the Ministry of Transport. Look, we have something called integrity. I don't know whether the Minister of Transport knows about integrity. If he does not have some children to tell him, other his wife to tell him that if he remains over there, nobody will have respect for him. That's all I have to say. The last thing I have to say has to do with the Guinean coming into Liberia. Nothing. If it was said that a certain group is going tomorrow to go on the rampage for certain things that they do not like, you will see all of the police, you will see all the army in the street with all the arms. Here we are, people coming transgression. They came into the country, declared war on us, brought our flag, insulted, took properties into Guinea. And Newman is going there. Is he the first person to go there? They're talking about diplomacy. God help Liberia. Have a nice day.
Thank you for your input. We appreciate you tonight. So we keep your call. We're gonna keep taking your calls. Keep it coming. 0555 101075 is the number to call, and you'll be live on the program tonight. This person, hello, let's hear you.
Yeah, evening.
Good evening. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Eagle Khan from EW Brazil.
You want to be audible a bit? What's in your mind?
Yeah, what is on my mind is, if my memory set me right, on Sunday there was a topic or a very comprehensive topic on the discussion. Is Liberia ready now for Indians, Lebanese to be citizens in Liberia? And that was the topic they were discussing. And I've been following. And now for me, Liberia is not prepared because the reason is simple. Our rule of law is not really strong. It's very, very lazy. People may not have justice. So Lebanese, there are people who already have money. The Indians, there are people who already have money. So if you look at the way they treat things, our brother then are working for them here. When we can give them the opportunity to become citizens, they will be here, and then the real citizen for Liberia will not enjoy the country. So Liberia is not prepared for that identical thing. So I don't want for them to even pass into law that Lebanese or Indian should be citizens in Liberia.
Thank you for your input. We appreciate you. We keep taking your calls on 0555 101075. That's the number to call, and you'll be live on the program. This one, hello.
Good evening to you in studio. How you doing, Chief?
I'm okay. It's good to have you on. Let's hear you. What's on your mind?
Thank you always for conducting this show every night for us to be able to express some issues that are of concern to us and the nation. My name is Kegwandega Gonkpaklo Ashawek Boson, and I'm joining you from my usual residence in Congo Town, Peace Ade.
Okay.
I just want to speak to two issues tonight quickly. The first one has to do with the non-Negro naturalization policy that Liberia is currently, trying to adapt. These things are not strange things to us, or they should not even be, because these are things that are taking place around the world and helping other countries to be transformed, wherewith when those people who are non-Negro descent come to Liberia and naturalize, economically, Liberia is going to be booming as they will give contributions to our economy. Now we're standing in the midst of what we are faced with as a proposal. We should be knowledgeable of the fact that most of these things are good policies that don't tend to even be implemented when it reaches the point where it is introduced as a bill for debate, because Liberia is a country where most of the population tend to be corrected. 40 to 45% of the population is not educated. So if you don't provide means of publicity or awareness to people who are not knowledgeable to these kind of processes, and you just pass those kind of bills, and after a certain time and people start to see foreign nationals put it into Liberia, some people tend to be terrified and think that Liberia is getting worse on the other hand. So we need more awareness on this non-Negro naturalization policy. Besides that, we need for people to engage in public discussions to various institutions of work. So number two, as I conclude quickly, you see the issue that has to do with this petroleum product increasing prices. For me, I always tell people, when somebody is in a situation that you cannot help him or her get out of, don't provoke that person because of that situation, and don't barb them. What do I mean? I'm not a physician. Few years back, President Weah was in power, and COVID-19 came and hit the country. It was a pandemic. Sooner or later, we saw that petroleum products started increasing due to the Ukraine and Russia war. People like Amos Tuede in power today, they criticized. They said George Weah was inept. He lacked the ability to provide good governance for the country, owing to the fact that prices of petroleum products skyrocketed. So they did not know that those things are natural phenomena and disasters that no government has control over once you don't provide or produce this petroleum in your country. That today he will take public media platform and tell the country that their government does not have control over petroleum prices. So they should stop deceiving people. When they are in opposition, everything is on the contrary. But when they get to position, things are the best, and they don't tend to criticize anything, even if they know that thing is the wrong thing that they spoke against before. So we should stop these things. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your input tonight. Let's take more calls. 0555-101075 is the number to call, and you'll be live on the program. Let's go back to the phone line. Take this person. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. You're live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Alfred Lisa. I'm calling you from the Congo Town Bell.
Alfred, what's on your mind?
Yeah, what is on my mind is the machine, the yellow machine.
Okay.
Yeah, the yellow machine, the first bar.
Are you there? Can you hear me? Okay. So
Hello?
sorry.
Hello?
Okay, yeah. Then go ahead.
I said the first batch of the yellow machine, I came circulating around saying that only 15 pieces arrived in the country. So they said the rest of the machines, the things that came as jet, water, chalk, and other things. So we really want for her to know knowledge or and tell whether or not 15 came into the city.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your input. 0555-101075. This person. Hello, your name and where you joining us from? Let's hear you.
Yeah, hello, Boris Tamar, calling from Japan Freeway.
Let's hear you. What's on your mind?
Yeah, what's on my mind? I got problem with broadcasting services.
You got problem with what?
The broadcasting service. The way of broadcasting, the way I got problem with phones.
Okay, what's the issue, sir?
Yeah, the issue is that you know that you're getting the biggest platform in the country, right? So you need to upgrade. You need to the biggest platform talk show. School is very big now. So you're trying to upgrade the station at least when school talk on. They can get serious conversation on the school and later they put the radio off. And that's why everybody gets a chance to go online and follow the way and then a radio can listen to. But the talk can be via only people that understand they say, oh, you're cutting the radio off. It's not good at that. And then you're trying to follow the station that can stream for 24 hours. You know, why school can't deal with that?
Great concern.
Yeah, school is very big, so let them try to upgrade the system, man.
Thank you. Thanks for your input. We appreciate you. We take another person here. Hello.
Yeah, hello. How you doing?
I'm okay. It's good to have you on. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah, I'm okay. My name is Nasuo.
Okay, let's hear you, sir.
The resident of Josephine.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, really, brother. My concern here is with the government of Liberia.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, we really want for the president to look into it, and then we're looking at the condition of the country and why it's happening, because some of what we experienced from 1990 up to this day, we went through. The recruitment, you see, high school graduates, and it's not only about high school graduates, because Boda cannot tell you, see, not only high school graduates, but we need more manpower. We need to enforce our army, and then we need to enforce our.
Hello, are you there? Too bad we lost that caller.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. There was a break in, but let's take this person. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Saying we lost that person. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Steven.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay. What's on your mind?
I'm Steven first. I'm Steven Kaifa, and then I'm phoning in from a 16th Street resident within Sinker.
Steven, let's hear you. What's on your mind?
I'm calling on the president to please dismiss the defense minister because she is incapacitated to defend the country.
Why you think so?
Because the defense minister had to come out to the press to give issue on serious security as it relates to national concern. What am I speaking about? You are a defense minister that controls both the military and the political aspect, which is your boss is the president. So a serious issue is happening. Like what happened in Lofa County, that Guinea, and you know Guinea is a junta nation now. They are not really a democratic state no more.
No, the president was democratically elected. There was an election here. Yeah.
Thank you. So we from where he came from to where he become now, his profile is to the president. That's what the president have out there.
Thank you very much.
So she needs to be removed.
Thank you for your input.
When the president means that the cabinet, when you have a cabinet meeting that some people are not performing, this is the exact question you were referring to.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's do it there. I see the CEO has joined us. CEO, good evening.
Nelson, how you doing? Good evening.
Yes, sir. I'm doing well.
Good. Good evening to everyone. I see a lot of people here, let's make this happen. What's going on, Nelson?
No, we good. The guest is in studio. Yes.
Who the guest? You told me a guest. I texted you. You didn't answer me. Can you?
Oh, my. Okay. Enter. My phone is on the other side. Okay.
Studio, your phone on the other side. How will communicate in private if your phone on the other side,
man? No, we on course now. We on course.
You can never be on course, again.
Oh.
You can never be on course. You got your phone on the other side, then you say we're on course. What kind of course? The East Coast, the West Coast?
Everything.
Yeah, but send a text that I don't know who you got in the studio. Let me
yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah. But that's it, man. I heard that the fire friendly Kanga, what's his name? The ombudsman. Wow.
Yeah.
How the ombudsman will be caught in corruption? But that's it. The man that's supposed to talk about what? Something in the government, right? The other guy after Masakwe, the man that's supposed to talk about how you call him, what's the guy name? That's it. You talking to somebody?
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to.
You're trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so we gotta do the show. I kind of confused that shit, right? Mm-hmm. The ombudsman, Kanga Fene, what's the name? Fene Kanga.
Yeah, Councillor Finlay Kanga.
I want to call Jumbly Kanga Lawrence in the That's where I'm going. Yeah. But I'm trying my best not to post Jumbly. Is he related to Jumbly?
Well,
maybe he related to Jumbly husband. No, the Jumbly pan, Jumbly man, or whatever it is. But the man, how can the man, and just imagine the reason why they fired the man begged to resign. They fired him. The man taking $500 from on the beginning paycheck. These allegations are stupid. Then we sit now you're talking about this, and we talk about war in Lofa. They put them on bring war. Bobby's in that way. I mean, I find this thing to be bad by Sister Bobby, right? This is crazy. Fede, how can a whole councillor try to hustle on the paycheck of the people they hire? A whole councillor. Let's say we need a picture, man. Let's say, I don't know who you're looking at. Did that person here? We bring that person on. Talk to me, that's it. You already got lit on the show that you gave me hard time, that's it. But because I'll deal with you, you can't let on the show, I'll deal with you. Because like, what you do now? Seriously. You don't want to get no secret. You already got lit on the show that you gave me hard time. Yeah, man. But Jimama, can you imagine Augustine Gonga? Who is this guy? I need Fende Kanga picture. All the integrity institution in that Western WhatsApp. How can this guy, the ombudsman, they call the man the ombudsman. You know how they call the man? The man said he will do the code of conduct. The man said he's not abiding by the code of conduct. And they got to fire him. But what kind of trouble Joseph Boga so? What kind of trouble President Boga? And President Boga's the whole council up. Let me get his picture. Let somebody put his picture out. And we'll talk about the war. I think the guest in your studio is to tell us exactly what's going on in Lofa. I think. Yeah, Children Play say you always late, Nelson. Children Play, you're right, man, always late. You always give me hard time.
I mean, Children Play,
you always late. But can you imagine? So folks, though, the ombudsman, I know how many more minutes we got. We got 4 more minutes, right? Can you just imagine the person that's supposed to do the code of conduct? They fired the man because he was stealing from the people that are working there. He was stealing from the money, 500. We'll put a report up. These are allegations. These are huge allegations. Can you imagine that? So these people that helping President Bwaka, how can these people help President Bwaka? Can somebody tell, look, I need a bigger picture on him. They want too small, my man. They say, man, a big picture on the man. I need to show the man rare councilor suit. Man, I can't believe it, man. Who's helping President Barga? Who's in there? Who's ready? Then we talk about, hey, then the chief of just stop saying he's military man, he's scared to go to the border. We're talking about that one. I mean, you carry your chief of staff to the border, they say they're getting people taking the land, the person they're coming back. What's the chief of staff name? The guy from Lofa himself. Yeah, I mean, what's going on? Then we're talking about this thing that cemetery going to court again on the 12th. Then we're talking about them for that people back going to be the full bench again to decide on the case. Then we're talking about everything we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is concerning you. The Speaker of the House and all of them ain't got nothing to do but just to go ahead and say they were Jay Gaffan because Gaffan ain't paid it. You know how many people in Liberia get paid? Gaffan ain't getting a gas slip. They send Sergeant Arm to Jay Gaffan. So what's going on? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Somebody just got to have been here. On a beautiful Tuesday. The sun is so hot here now, see? And I don't know what's going on. But who is this guy? How can this guy, the allegation that, who sent me John Cheru picture? They said John Cheru picture, they said the whole city dirty. They said the mayor not operating now, see? That they my picture, they sent me. That's it. They said the mayor from Monrovia, they say, man, not working. They sent me a picture, they say, whole city dirty. I don't know what they say. They want me to talk about the mayor. So, yeah, the whole city dirty, that's what they say. Yeah, they also representative, auto finance minister, deputies and comptroller general brought before primary oversight salary delay. You know how many people in the government get salary? These guys saying they are so sucker. They don't have salary. The people are taking pay, but regime speaker saying that they're going to jail. I mean, how you call the guy? Gaffran. Gaffran ran away. Gaffran ran away. It's not the same sergeant and Gaffran checker. Gaffran said, I'm going for a national security meeting. And the national security concerning the fact that the whole border now is open. The whole border. For me, let me say this though. We'll show you the picture, we'll play the video. Everybody will tell their own, but I think the way in which what I know, what I heard, the way in which it was taken care of, I think diplomatically it was done right. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. And I think it's very important for us to discuss it. It's one of the trending issues we have to discuss today. So I want to say to all of you, as you join the show, share the show. It's going to be a very interesting show today. You have not gotten paid, but Regime Speaker say, "Mama, look how dirty the city is." Hey, God. Moria dirty. That's it. I'm looking at you. Moria really dirty.
Yeah. There are parts of Monrovia where the waste situation, waste control, garbage control has always been a problem. And one of those places happens to be the Center Street. Tomorrow is Decoration Day.
That's Center Street, Nancy. What I'm looking at, that's Center Street. The city is really dirty. I think John, they got to, I don't know. There's a problem with John. I think he can do better. I don't know what's actually, messing John up. All right. I see that you say fighting to bring James Cody. Is that his name? He's going to come and talk about this whole thing. But this city is dirty, man. Whew. My. To God be the glory. And we'll bring up to speed with, the Labrador soil that they say they get soil. Oh, let's check out for the Guinea soil there. Where's AFL? The chief of staff himself checker. How you know how many times the chief of staff checker? All of them begging for diplomacy. That's it. We have some problem in our country. Seriously. What Gregory Coleman and the Labrador National Police? What's the immigration? What custom? What the National Guard? What the AFL? How do you call that? Men of pride. How do you call the AFL people? Where are they?
Our men and women in arms. But I think they're still using the first approach. When diplomacy fails, then maybe
diplomacy failed. I like that. Let's see who will put forward. Let's see who will put forward. Wait, not diplomacy.
Diplomacy should always be the first approach.
I don't know. Listen, let me ask you, right? Let me ask you. What do you think the option of President Bouaka should be in this situation? We want to hear from you, right? Antrick, we like to hear from you, Dwayne. I mean, what can the president do? We got about a little below 3,000 men in arm, AFL. Let's talk about 65,000 men. What can we do? We don't even have the military. We don't have anything. What can we do? What should President Bouaka do? But just to go through ECOWAS and MRU, Madam Union and AOU, and back. Oh, but I thought President Bouaka was mayor in. President Bouaka was mayor in San Diego government. President Bouaka is the commander-in-chief. He has the commander-in-chief. What should the president do? We're going to open the line quickly because I think, Nelson, you got problem with James' computer. I don't know. But we got to open the line, Nelson. Open the line. Let's ask the people before we start the show. It's 9:02 p.m. in Liberia, 5:02 Eastern Time here. What should President Bouaka do? The Guineans just put down their flag. We will play it. We'll show you the video. But what should President Bouaka do? That's the question. That's the question. What can he do? What you want the president to do? The president just got to go on his knee and beg, right? Is that what you want him to do? Do you want Liberia to go to war? Do we have the manpower, the resources? What's the best option here? What do you want your president to do? Because the Guineans said they're coming back again. The Guinean make the AFS soldier, the chief of staff, run away. If the interior minister, how they call it, local government minister, he ran away. What can the government do? It's a national security issue. It's a national security issue. So we got to waste time. We got to play around. No kakaleka. We just tell you up front. We asking you. You can join us on Spoon FM, on Super FM, on Fabric FM, on Spoon TV, on Super TV, on Fabric TV, on Voice of Liberia. You can join us on the YouTube and all your social media online because we are asking you. If we're not asking you to open the line, he refusing to. They're making the workplace.
No, we can open the lines. We can.
And he refusing to open the line. He is refusing. You can see him, Emmanuel. Let me take this person. Yeah, hello, your name. What do you think President Bouaka should do? What should he do? The Guineans saying they're taking over Liberia. What can President Bouaka do? Hello? Yeah, talk to us. We're talking about the situation at the border.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me on this show.
Thank you. What do you think the public should do? What the public do?
What happened today is very much unfortunate, and it's also a very awful situation. It just shows to you that our border is open, and we don't.
So what you think? We understand all of that, sister. What President Bouaka should do here now?
What can President Bouaka do is just to, for me, I think firstly we can take the diplomatic way first.
So the way the Papa going at the best way, he's doing diplomatic first, right? He's speaking to people in the region, right?
Yeah, and it's not only going to be him alone because we also, as an advocate, an international advocate, we have already started calling.
Thank you very much, my sister. I have to take the second call. Thank you very much. Your name and where you joining us from? Your name and where are you joining us from? Mama, you gotta talk fast, so the line going crazy. You won't talk again. You call my mentor. Yeah. So what you think the Papa do now? What JMB should do?
Having to do with violence, all right? And having to do with violence. Violence, that's not what it is.
So what the Papa should do, we asking you for your advice now. What you advise the president, what is his position, what you want him to do?
Get a piece of internet there, and let's go there and handle this stuff there. And that's going to say what the president should do there. Well, everybody wants to talk the president should do everything. The president should do that. He has all the tools that he
in situation like that, my man, the people need a president, man. Leave me alone about chief of staff. The people want a president, then he said chief of staff. The people want the president to talk, then he said chief of staff. That chief of staff, the president. Your name and where you joining us from? Your name on 6693 number. Where are you joining us from? All right, my man, you're not ready yet. We'll hang up on you and take another call. Your name and where you joining us from? Hello. Your name and where are you joining us from?
Yes, Uncle Pete, the man from all the conflicts.
Uncle Pete, talk to us, Uncle Pete.
Yeah. In this kind of situation, diplomacy is the best thing for us to do in our country. And I want to commend the foreign minister for the steps she took to start with the diplomacy. We don't need to fight war. We do not.
So the president is not about the foreign minister. The president convened a cabinet meeting today. The second day, the president met with a national security advisor. And the path here is, first of all, engage this through the regional organization, ECOWAS, MRE, and all these other people. You are saying diplomacy is the key, correct?
Diplomacy is the key.
Thank you.
The president, the foreign minister, for the step, the best step they are taking.
Thank you. Thank you. I got to go. The line is crazy basic. Your name and where you joining us from?
Senator Tommy Jr. calling from Virginia.
My friend, talk to us, please.
Good. So the very first thing our puppet should do, our president, is to protect the borders. Before any diplomatic talk, any diplomacy or whatever, protect the border, because if the border is not protected, this stuff is going to happen over and again. Protect the border.
Do you think, let me ask you, right?
Yeah.
But look at the border today. Bunch of youth went there, they raised the Liberian flag, they saluted the flag, we would do this, it was inspiring. But no soldier, we see nobody, no AFL, no immigration, no national security, nobody.
Precisely, Senator, you made a valid point. We had no security personnel over there. The citizens were basically protecting the nation. It can't happen like that, because if something was to come up off a bit, the citizens don't have as much arms as the Guineans.
Again, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. We want to say to all of you, please go ahead. We need your comment. We got to flag your comment. If you're following us on Facebook, on YouTube, what do you think president should do? President Bouaga, protect the borders, send troops to the borders, talk to the Guinean president, call Tinubu from ECOWAS, call the regional leaders, talk to them, bring in MRU, the Mano River Union. President Bouaga said they built a $10 million project for Mano River. Use that as a swagger. Swagger means your influence and all the yama. But the people, I'm asking you though, what about AFL today? They were MIA, missing in action. So Benin went and raised the Liberian flag. What's going on with our army? Can you imagine? But what can the puppet do? The puppet convened a meeting. The puppet called a meeting, a full-scale meeting. The puppet called the chief of staff. He called the defense minister. He called Prince Johnson for NSA. He called the justice minister. He called everybody. He called Samuel Kofi Woods. He called his vice president. He called all the cabinet people involved in NSA meeting. The joint chief of staff, every one of them. The puppet said, we got problem. As I speak to you right now, they are meeting right now. Probably the puppet were against the nation. They are meeting at the president home right now.
Stop, man. Stop.
Somebody stop this guy. I'm not in the mood today.
Stop, man.
Wait for your time. This is nothing about CDC.
Stop, man.
And I will give you my intro. Igno Kav Hassan. We're internally muting to Judgment Day. But ladies and gentlemen, let me say this to you. What do you think the president should do? Before I go in the studio, you were waiting for Spoon Talk, share the show, let's make progress. What can President Bouaga do? What would be your advice to the president? What do you think? Let's take more calls, and then we'll go to Liberia. Your name and where you joining us from?
Oh, this is Jackson P. Jackson, and I call you from Barrie, Ontario, Canada.
Barrie, talk to us, my friend.
The Guineans should be very careful. When we get angry, it will be a different thing. So for now, we're going to take it on a diplomatic level. And if it don't work, trust me, we will get to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me take this one. Your name and where you joining us from?
My name is Norris Johnson. The first thing the president should do is to close the border tonight, not tomorrow, until things ease there. Close the border with Guinea.
All right, Nelson, bring Jacob on. Just Jacob Cameron, I think you know what to do up there. But again, let me go ahead and tell you that, guys, people say close to border, the line is going crazy. This is a big thing. Your name and where you're joining us from. What do you think President Boga should do?
I see you. My name is David.
Talk to me. What do you think the public can do?
Well, I think the best thing we should do is to follow up, get real insecurity about each other because they did nothing today. They left the citizen vulnerable to the people today. There was no agency, no police, nobody to keep around. And that was very bad today for our citizens.
Thank you, thank you. Let me take the next one. Your name and where you joining us from?
From Mobile, Alabama.
Yes, sir. Talk to me. What do you think the public should do? This is a big thing. What do you think Joseph Boakai should do?
Stanton, I was born right at the border there. It started a long time ago, even during turbo time. The Guineans are always out.
What do you think the public should do? What do you think the public should do?
I think diplomatic failed already because it started a long time. I think we need people there. I got my family at the border. We need the military people there to protect our people. My brother.
The military ran away. No military. The civilian raised a flag this morning. They saw the Guinean coming around.
Yeah, I know. I live there. The place is called Solomon. I live there. I grew up there. Stanton, there's no army there. There's nobody there.
And that's why we asking the Liberian people, what can JMB do? JMB is the commander-in-chief. He is the commander-in-chief. Let's take more call. Again, your name and where you joining us from. Oh, man, we're not here to wait. You call, you got to answer. You can't call and be holding the line. We're backing you, chief. Your name and where you joining us from.
Excuse me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's an island right there. They call the place Marcona. There's an island right there. Over time, they drove our people from making farm there. And nobody did anything. And they are coming because nobody did anything.
Your name and where you joining us from?
Yes, this is Shebwe calling from Minnesota.
Go ahead, talk to me.
The activities of the Guinean soldier is a bad sign to Liberia, and we want for the president to take serious action. I would recommend that he close the border, and before going to any diplomatic talk with the Ghanaian counterpart, the Guinean counterpart, but the border should be closed to show it's a kind of.
He closed the border from who?
Close the border.
From who? From who?
The border has to be well protected. That border need to be closed.
I agree, brother. They're asking now who closed the border from the Guinea don't need pass the canal. They can't the ferry on the water.
No, it will show a very serious deterrent if the border closed. Monitor the border before going to the region for which the club across that border they go to the diplomatic talk, but the border should be closed. Okay. Our military should be deployed.
Okay. And I agree with you, and that's why we asking. Let me run back in studio real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take your call. We have to have the conversation, you and us. Again, Nelson is set it up in the back. We'll take your call from Liberia. When Nelson is done, I'd like to say to you, welcome to the show. Kefiko Ahmed Hassan, Emmanuel George, the doctor, Wilfred Russell, the former councilman, and our friend and brother chief, Fubi Ahmed Henry. What do you think President Boga should do? Kev, welcome.
President Boakai, and let me say hi to everybody. President Boakai is not doing anything. President Boakai will not do anything, never. This is not the first time. A couple of months ago, they did the same thing, the same era. The credit should go to the vigilante that went there, the boys that went there. That's the credit should go to. The ordinary citizen risked their life. Supposedly the Guinean military opened fire on them. They risked their life because this government can't do anything. Oh, the foreign minister, nothing. They didn't do anything. Nothing they did. It would be shameful for anybody to come out and say, give government credit, diplomatic, nothing. It was the ordinary citizens stood up for the country, for Liberia. The military went in there put the flag up, their flag up. Nobody show face. Nothing from the government. This thing been happening since yesterday. Emmanuel George talked about it a little bit yesterday. He's telling you, see, you were gathering information. Nothing they were doing. Nothing. So we can't come here and say the president calling meeting, the this, the that. Nothing. The ordinary citizen, nothing. The only thing we hear from the information ministry, oh, keep calm, you'll keep calm. After the ordinary citizen put their lives on the line, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. It will be shameful for anybody to give credit to this government. It will be real shameful. That's what this government is about. It's about come after everything. They come, they show that face, and they say, oh yeah, we'll do something, we'll do something. This is fake.
So
nothing. People spend their nights. They slept there. They slept there, Emmanuel George. They slept there. They spend the night. They eat there. They enjoy themselves. The ordinary citizens say, we can't do it because our government cannot protect our land. We will risk our life. The credit should go to those boys. We should be calling some of them to be on the show, not the government. The government not doing anything, Stanton.
All right, let me bring in Dr. George. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a very unique conversation. We welcome you to the show. Again, I will tell you the truth because I am fully informed, unlike some of my other people here. No disrespect to their connect, but I can tell you this. The government been working almost a month ago. Sorry to say, Cap said the thing started yesterday. No. People have traveled to get in. And I will say this to you. I beg you, I would say, I can't.
I didn't say it started yesterday. I said it been happening months back. The government do nothing.
Can't be interrupting, though. Can't be interrupting.
Months back.
Can't be interrupting. You are. So, Emmanuel, let's hear you. Let's hear you, Emmanuel. Welcome to the show, man. We're just going to get right into it.
Thank you, Stanton. Good evening. Good evening, Kev, the Chief Fubi Henrys, and the Honorable Betty D. Wayfair Russells. It's good to see every one of you. And good evening to the listeners who are listening to us on Facebook, YouTube, and the different radio stations that you're following this evening. Well, the situation is scary. And historically, this has been a situation we have since the colonizer left porous and ambiguous borders throughout the country. Those of us who have spent time traveling in and out of Liberia at different border points, we know that sometimes the demarcation is very, very difficult. Sometimes you ride in Nima and Lofa area, before you know it, someone say you're in another country, you turn so you're in the other country. So that's ambiguity have been there. And there have always been this challenge with Guinea. The same in 2023, we had a situation in Ganta because of toll collections. We had this issue. And then we have this issue, the current issue we have now that it is believed to have started by sand mining within that area on the Makona River, where the Guineans are claiming that that dispute came up. And there have always been that in and out within that area. But the thing is that we know as a country that we have these kind of disputes, but what are we doing to mitigate the dispute, especially working with the local government official, both in Liberia and in Guinea? I think from what I've seen with the video, that we allow the Guineans to come into our territory, put their flag up. That is wrong in international law and international relations. And then we allow that to happen before we start to respond to it. We're not proactive, even though there have been different meetings that have been held between Guinea and Liberia to solve this situation. So this show is a great sign of weakness on the part of the Liberian government, especially when many Liberians have been encouraged, have been told that we have a very strong army. We increased the budget this year for the National Security Agency, just so that these kind of situations will be mitigated. But we now seeing Liberians, average Liberians at the Guinean border, confronting military people with guns, which is not a good thing to do. And those pictures, the images coming up, it's not a good image for the Liberian government at all. I would like to, even though the Guineans came in our country, at the level of level headers, the the soldiers had as they brought the flag down and moved, even as the Liberian civilians were mocking at them and sending words to them. I do respect that level, the level of calm they had, and the level of which, because it's strange. I have been to Guinea before. I know the gendarmeries in Guinea. I've never seen them as calm as they were today in my interaction with them, especially in Francophone speaking countries. The gendarmeries are extremely aggressive, but they were very calm today.
Josh, and then listen, guys. I know, like Josh, thank you. We welcome CMC Jacob Jana. Away from Russell, we distant away monitoring this thing seriously. And a lot of people, they are on edge. People are thinking, say what you want to say. But what can President Boakai do? What should President Boakai do?
Thank you, Stanton. And again, it's great being here, great being a part of this show. And let's say hi to all of our listeners and viewers out there. And to my fellow panelists, great seeing you all. And let's have a wonderful, healthy conversation. No, Stanton, I think, you know, when our country or our land is being encroached upon, I mean, this is the time for all of us to come together, despite our different political views or different political association. I think this is the time that we all come together and support the government and speak with one voice, that this is unacceptable. So what I think President Boakai needs to do is first take the diplomatic route, and apparently that is what he is doing. I'm not going to use this as an opportunity to beat on the president or this administration. There are a lot of other things that we could, that we will beat on him on, I'm sure, you know, as the show goes on. And there are a lot of other things that we have to talk about with respect to the issues that people are facing. But the here and now, the situation that we're dealing with, where at least the information that I have received and what the details, nonetheless, what I'm saying, it appears to be a clear encroachment and infringement on our land and our physical geography. So how many miles that they came and if encroached on the land of the territory of Liberia, for me, it doesn't matter. Even if it's half a mile or whatever, it is unacceptable and it needs to be condemned. And all of us as citizens of Liberia, we don't appreciate this sort of humiliation that is appearing in these videos and all of that. And we need to be united and stand and speak with one voice that this is unacceptable, and the Guineans need to be to move back, to go back, you know. But I would encourage President Boakai to take the diplomatic route and work behind the scenes with your foreign ministers and all of your security advisors. In the meantime, also encourage citizens to be calm. But we have to be firm, and we must be firm, and we must stand united. You know, as we see in this country, you know, I mean, you can say whatever about any of the presidents, in this case, President Trump, but once the U.S. is attacked, everybody rally around the flag. Everybody rally around rallies around the president. I think that's the same case here. We should rally around the flag, rally around the president, and ensure that the Guineans go back.
We want to say thank you very much. This is a big day, guys. So we will run through this. We would like to hear from the Liberian people as we bring in Chief Fubi. I'm saying James Cotty in the back, and Remy Gray will be coming on. Fubi, you follow this thing from all the way, Burkina, wada. What can this government do? What should President Boakai do here?
Yeah, so good evening, everybody. We look forward to a good show. Firstly, I think this is complete BS for the Guineans. I think that's something that they shouldn't be doing. We got families on both sides. There are Liberians that got their relatives in Guinea, there are Guineans that got their relatives in Liberia, and there are people that even have dual citizenship with both countries. So we shouldn't be bringing any kind of chaotic stuff in the region. The Guineans did the same in Sierra Leone. We saw it a few months back, and they extended it to Liberia. And we all sitting down, we're talking about, the government is mature, handling it diplomatically. There is nothing about handling it diplomatically here. It exposed that the big exposure here in the country, that we don't have our security, that the country is vulnerable. And that's a shame on the government. And the government should know that. You know that fully well that this is a big shame on the government. And there is something that's been happening. You don't have any security, at any of the border points or these openings. Those citizens risk their life. If the Guineans have decided to retaliate on them, you have been bloodbath. And they are brave. There's nothing but bravery over there. They just took some risks. We understand that you have patriotism, you want to stand up for your country, but they took big risks. And this is a shame on the country. And the president needs to, at this point, all of those places now, you should have your security there. Why are you talking about diplomacy? You can't be talking about we'll handle it diplomatic way. That's a shame. All these places you have soldiers at all these entry border points. You can be giving NSA, 50 million excess over budget, this other budget, and you are not having money for the AFL to be at these critical border entry points. You should have military bases at all these different angles. That's how you do it. So it's a shame on the country. We are not protected as a country. And nobody should sit here and try to talk about diplomacy. This is not about diplomacy. You can have the diplomatic discussion, but at this point, you should have securities at those different points, because you know that those are vulnerable openings. And you put your citizens at risk. Some people are running. People are packing their loads to leave those kind of places, seeing it as a sign of war. And that should not be happening in this time and age. Seeing the kind of encroachment happening, you see the issue with Ukraine and Russia, you see the issue with Israel now and Iran, and this is the simplest of it that Guinea trying to show. They went in Sierra Leone, did the same BS. Now they came to Liberia, and we're all saying now, oh yeah, the government is handling mature way. There's nothing about maturity in here. There's nothing about diplomacy. You should have your soldiers at those different points, and you can engage the Guinean government on the diplomatic way that you can have your military might.
That's why we are on Spoon Talk. We're on that pyramid with different views and opinions. That's the reason we came here every day, and we are here every day to discuss issue of national concern. So whatever the situation would be, we go to our brother Jacob Jala. Jacob, if we have a problem with James, then maybe James can come back. I believe that Nelson has some issue with him. I see him in and off. But let's hear you, Jacob. Jacob, don't touch the microphone, please, for the sake of good heaven. My brother, are you a saboteur? I don't think you are. But now you not mute yourself. Can you unmute yourself, Chief? Nelson, can you unmute Jacob? Thank you, Jacob. Nelson, we're not hearing Jacob. I don't know how you guys doing that thing, my man.
Hello? You can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, so pose your question. What's your question?
I mean, what's your President Boga do? You follow the story about the Guinean border today. Liberian border, the people crossed, they came in. What should he do? What can he do, though? I'm hearing Phoebe, I'm discouraged about hearing what Phoebe's saying. You don't have the manpower, the military manpower. You don't have the resources. Then you say that we disappointed, that we go face them. Where? What you got? But we come out of Phoebe, we're attacking tonight. What you have? But let's hear you, Jacob. Let's hear you.
Yes. So yeah, definitely I followed today. It was a huge news in town throughout and online. So I definitely follow. So first of all, I'd like to bring you all greetings from the Citizens Movement for Change. Yeah, so I think from my part, from what I've followed over the last several hours, I think the government is approaching this matter in a more mature way. I read the release from the government of Liberia, and I've had an opportunity to speak to a few people across government circles also. We have to treat this kind of matter with absolute maturity. We do not want an escalation or any kind of violent clashes across our border. That's the last thing we want here. We are a country that have seen our own fair share of bloodbath and security madness for many, many decades. We don't want to travel that road. We still carrying our little bit of PTSD here and there. So when we see things like this happening, we want our government to approach it diplomatically, explore diplomatic solution. We have, all of the mechanisms available to us. I was coming and listening to you, and you're talking about the opportunities we have through the ECOWAS mechanism. We have a regional body here. We have the Nigerians. We have all these big regional powers that are part of ECOWAS, and we can always utilize those medium to arrive at an amicable resolution of things like these. I don't want to see the blood of any single Liberian being shared just because a group of military officers from a neighboring country may have strayed across the border to plant a flag. It looks like some kind of annexation, but I don't want to exaggerate it that much. I think diplomatically these things can be resolved. And I'm happy to say that we didn't have armed AFL forces across there who probably will start shooting here and there, and then we'll have a huge crisis on our hands. I think we are a peaceful country, and because when you have clashes like this, it has all kind of implication on the economy. People want to do their businesses. You don't want people start running away from the country. You don't want to instill any kind of fear in the population because people have their livelihood to pursue. So I like to thank the government for approaching it in such a diplomatic way, exploring diplomatic channels, and then finding ways to resolve it in such a manner rather than going head to head or eyeball to eyeball with other people across the border and see violence. And I also like to thank Liberians today. My political leader recognized citizen action today. They were extremely peaceful, and then they stood out there and they communicated their points. And then, of course, we like to laud the extreme patriotism. Next time, let them not try to, took the kind of dangerous action. It looked very scary, but it's after the fact now. I think, we like to recognize the patriotism of Liberians. Yes.
Thank you very much. Let me bring in Colonel Gray before we go to James Scotty. James Scotty, welcome to the show. We'll come to you. Colonel Gray, welcome, man. This is some big issues going on here. Talk to us.
Good day, Stanton. Good day, everyone. Stanton, when it comes to this kinds of aggression, boots on the ground would be the last resort. We exhaust all the diplomatic means. Don't forget that Guinea and us, we are in a pact. First, we have a non-aggression pact. And then we have the Mano River Union Pact. So we have two diplomatic strong ties, and then we also have ECOWAS. Don't forget that the gentleman that runs Guinea is no longer a military person; he's a civilian now. So by virtue of that, is compelled by international norms to follow all those rules. And I think this government chose to pursue this diplomatically, which is what you should do first. And don't allow yourself to, some folks want to see military pool deployed and they exchange weapons. Nobody wins when it comes to warfare at that level. All sides will suffer casualty. And being a friendly government, the Guinean government, the people of Guinea, will assume that when they stray over to your border, the intention is not to annex you. So unless we have actions from their end, otherwise suggesting that they're there to actually inflict harm or annex our territory, we really cannot be the first person to pull the trigger. And I'm glad that the
I don't think somebody. I don't know whether we're not following the statement. Nobody called it a pull trigger, though. We do not have no military men at the border.
No, Stanton. I'm just saying. I heard some conversation. People wanted.
I'm hearing you say that no boots on the ground. We don't have even slipper on the ground.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We could have deployed boots on the ground. which is the wishes and ambition of certain people. We should have had boots on the ground. No, we don't have to have had boots on the ground.
You need someone at the borders to mind your borders, to protect your borders. What are you talking about? You don't have it.
I agree. But equally, we can. Thank you very much. So equally, we have to be able to manage this situation diplomatically for now, and I think that was exhausted. But for some people, they feel that the way it works, when someone strays into your border, right away you engage them and start shooting them at them. But remember now, the Guinean people and the military, they also their allies. We're friends, and so when they stray to your border, whatever the resistance they put up was kind of it was meaningful. But I think we should not be thinking of going any further than that, Stanton.
Great, thank you very much. Uncle Sam, welcome. Before we get to you, let's bring in James. James, just introduce yourself. Where you joining us from? I know you're in studio, but I mean, who are you?
Good evening, Stanton. Good evening to all the panelists. It's really a pleasure to be here. This is my first time on your show. I've followed your show on numerous occasions, and I really want to thank you and the rest of the folks for providing a lot of information and keeping Liberians informed. I know sometimes the show gets really political, and and sometimes there can be clash of opinions and views. But I'm really here not to talk about the politics of the day, because I really, as much as I'm interested in the politics, but I'm politically non-aligned. So I've been invited to share my perspective on the ongoing saga, you may call it. That's because I come from a background of international relations, and my study focus is in peace and security. So, and I've done some work across some NGOs and INGOs. And particularly in Lofa, I've worked within that very neighborhood in which the saga is unfolding.
Bring us up to speed. James, that's too long of an introduction. We got time when you're giving a long introduction, but welcome to Spoon Talk. You will say
Thank you.
We'll put you in politics. I understand you're a very intelligent guy. I'm reading something about you. Thank you for joining us. Why are we where we are today with the borders? Why? Why Guineans crossing over? Why?
Well, historically, Liberia and Guinea have always have historically had border issues, from as far back as the 60s, the 70s, even up to the post-war period. And the post-war era actually intensified our border clash, and that's because we had this.
That's why we are losing James' video, though.
Yes, we had this crossover of Liberians into Guinea, and also Guineans into Liberia. And as you may know, we have.
Hold on 1 minute. We just lost your video. Again, I allow Nelson to reconnect you. Then we will take it from there. In the meantime, because you're talking to us, but you're not on the screen. So let Nelson work on that. Uncle Sam, welcome. And we hope we can hear more from James Cody. Well, Uncle Sam, though, you woke up this morning, you heard the information. Bring us up to speed. What can this government do? What should President Barker do as Commander-in-Chief, sir? Welcome, Uncle Sam.
No, I think the first thing would be to assess the situation diplomatically, reach out to our Guinean counterparts, and find out exactly that if there are any territorial claims. But let's go back to history. If you remember the Berlin Conference of 1884, Liberia was an independent country in 1884. 1884, I believe, 1885, but please don't. Okay. So when they sat in their room at the Bismarck Convention, and these arrogant Caucasians decided to carve out Africa amongst themselves, okay, and granting large swaths of African territory to the Belgians, to the French, to the Germans, to the English, right? And Liberia's current territory was not the landmass at that time, but they kept encroaching. In fact, the encroachment continued until like around the 1930s, and then up to the independence of the African countries. But Liberia has been shrinking, right? Because Liberia is a very poor country, didn't have a military to
Uncle Sam, we know the history. Uncle Sam, we know the history. What should President Boakai do? Is he doing the right thing now? That's all. You guys taking our way back to that history. We know, Uncle Sam.
Yeah, no, but
we know all of that. What can this president do now? We're in a situation, Uncle Sam.
Okay, so in order for the president to know what to do, we have to look at the history or where this originated from. If you don't know the history, if you don't know the geopolitics of it, if you don't know the colonialism, you don't know all of that, you cannot begin to use diplomacy when you don't know your territorial.
So you think diplomacy is a way now? You think the president first approach?
Diplomacy is always the best, because look, don't forget, these two countries have tribes in common. I mean, the Kisi, the Lomas, the Peles, and other tribes. I mean, within the border. I mean, and most people within those border villages and border towns, they don't. I mean, there is no line of demarcation with the border, except in some areas where there's a river or where there's a stream or something. But these people go back and forth. But the thing is to find out why is this an encroachment, and why was there an encroachment, and what are the Guineans trying to accomplish by coming on Liberian territory? That's the first thing we should be evaluating, right? So once you evaluate that, then you can make a determination as to how is this a hostile action, or is this a friendly action, or is this a misunderstanding? So you don't just go ahead and start to take actions until you really know the history, until you know exactly where their aims and objectives are. Then before you start to tackle it, that should be the approach. The first approach should always be a peaceful, diplomatic approach, because we're neighbors.
I understand. Thank you. And guys, I understand you want to know the history. Just go on Google, go back to school, read the history. We don't have less than 2 hours. If we go back to class, we'll be and know the history, and we'll not discuss the issue. So please, just go on YouTube. You'll know the history. But let me come back with the same question. James, I think you're hearing us. This is a very, very important conversation. The path to diplomacy without soldiers and immigration and some national security folks at that border. Do you think the president is proceeding correctly, James? Can we do both at the same time? Send men to the border and talk diplomacy.
What I agree, 100%. You can do both. You can have men at the borders, and you also pursue diplomatic actions. You can absolutely have both. And I agree with Mr. Jackson that diplomacy is always the first approach, especially given the homogeneous nature of the two countries. Along the border, you have it's difficult to really decipher between who is a Guinean and who is a Liberian, because along the borders you have intermarriages ongoing. You have tribal, tribes are interwoven. You have Guinean, you have Pele across the border in Guinea, you have Pele across the border in Liberia, you have Loma. And so it's really, really difficult to really decipher between Guineans and Liberians. So in such a situation, it becomes so very delicate. And so when you are a leader of a country, you want to handle such a situation with care, with caution. And I think the government, in my opinion, is proceeding rightly, addressing the situation from a more diplomatic approach. Why that approach is very important is also good to have your presence. Your presence has to be felt. And what I see displayed today by the Guineans was a show of their presence. And historically, every time there is a conquest, every time there is an encroachment, the encroaching party will always exert their influence. that action of exerting your influence will be either mounting your flag, hosting your flag, or some sign of some symbol representing your strength. And I think that's what the Guineans did today. That was a sign of encroachment. It was a sign of conquest, in my opinion. And this requires more conversation, in my opinion. It requires the government of Liberia going deep into the matter and having, high-level conversation. And again, these conversations can actually be understood from a more historical lens. And that's what I agree with Mr. Jackson when he tried to historicize the situation, how it all happened. Guinea and Liberia share about 590 kilometers of border. And along the borders, a lot of the border areas are very porous, extremely porous.
Thank you very much, James. We'll keep you on. You will give us a history. Uncle Sam will give us a history. We'll talk about the politics and do what exactly we can do here.
Emmanuel Josh, stay in top of Socrates here, or you gotta get in charge.
You will come in with Fall and Abdul Lamin and all the other people that died long ago. You have to get today that long people that did it when there was no internet and then died. You're still talking about the sexual hate. Four. When I was in school, they bring that 4 men to me. I changed a man into 10. That's the only way I can say that. Because if I think about 4, then I will face I change it to 10, then match it together. But guys, let's talk about this. It's really important for us to talk about. Kev, you're saying something contrary here, but let me say my piece and we'll bring you in. I've been on the phone, I've been investigating this thing, and I was surprised that President Boakai, not only today, for the past weeks, they've been getting intelligence that you guys will cross and go back, cross and go back. If you go to go on Facebook, March 2nd, 2026, the chief of staff and the local government minister, Preston Yamani, they appear at that very same border. And I know some of you can find it online. So President Boakai, he knows the history about this thing. He knows exactly what the junta now, they had election what they want. It's hard to get to them. I can only say with certain limit that the president, his national security advisor, Simon Kofi Woods, this man been traveling the region. He will just go back to Liberia. Our sources informing us, the chief of staff, Steve Stickwat, they were totally involved today. Sarah Besler-Yanti. I'm talking about the president chief of staff. I'm not talking about the army chief of staff. The army chief of staff were also involved. The defense minister was involved. Today, the president house this evening was jam-packed. They are discussing the issue. Somebody said military. Military where? You get army? You get army? So I put jokes aside, folks. Say, if anybody say, well, President Boakai is sleeping there, you are joking. Because the president is not sleeping on this matter. It may be slow. That's exactly how diplomatic work. You got to be slow with it. You got to move cautiously. And the president spoke to ECOWAS members, Nigeria. They were briefed. They were informed. They are waiting for the government position, and then the delegation will come to the country and go to Guinea. Don't forget. Don't forget. The similar situation took place in Sierra Leone. ECOWAS was sending delegation in Sierra Leone. Bam, this thing happened. But what actually the Guinean want? What's their intent? Is to take the land? No, that's not 100% intent. It's about mineral. It's about natural resources. So we got a lot to talk about. But make no mistake, and I believe the president should be addressing the nation. We knew that the letter was coming out, and I think it's only fair for President Boakai to address the nation. The people should be calm, but the government is working. I disagree with Fubi. I disagree with Kev Hassan. The government is working. We can have the emphasis of Liberia at that border ASAP, if they are not there yet, and we can talk diplomacy. And that's the way it should be. I don't know who's going to disagree. Well, make your point. But Joseph Boakai is having a sleepless night. I would beat on Joseph Boakai, you know me. But I am telling you, this government, what you saw, you said, well, the government wasn't proactive. But at the end of the day, the Guinean took down the flag. You think it just happened? Check out. The Guinean took down the flag. Oh, President Boga was sleeping and they took down the flag, right? Wilfred Russell. It just happened. It just came back and they took down the flag. Who in the right mind would make people to believe that Joseph Boakai is not working in the interest of the Liberian people? And this is exactly what diplomacy is. So I will raise this fire here from my colleagues here tonight. It's going to be firing, folks. But the important thing, we're talking about the youth that raised the Liberian flag. But the important thing is, when you make an error, you do that which is right. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We understand that the government didn't, no soldier were there, no slipper, no boots. But guess what happened? And I will come to you, Jacob. The government, they are working. And I think the Liberian people should embrace the fact that the president stepped up to the place. And the end result, guess what, Jacob? The Guinean people took the flag down and they retreated. Can anybody say anything otherwise? Let's hear you and we'll go to Kev Hassan. I don't want, after giving the good thing, and go to Kev Hassan. I really don't want to do that. So, Jacob, let me come to you. Then we'll go to Kev Hassan.
Yes. So I think I was happy that, and I saw the video when the Guinean forces and troops took the flag down. And of course, they started to leave. I think it was a kilo or so. That was very interesting. And I was happy to see that we were able to arrive at that without any bloodshed. For me, that's my thing. I am not one person who would see like violent action as an option. I don't like that. And I think most people don't like that. If we can resolve our issue without going crazy, without going haywire, everybody start trying to destroy human life, I'll go for that one 10 out of 10. You know, and I think all peaceful human beings and a normal human being will go for that. This is not about bravado or making big bluff or show of military conquest. This is not a movie. This is not a Hollywood movie. This is people life, people livelihood. So don't do PlayStation and think this is what you are. And then you go create some kind of theater or war across the border there. We don't want that. That's the last year. We clearly don't want that. So I think even the guys who came across the border, they saw that even citizens that were there were peaceful. There were no aggression, and at the end of the day, possible that, like Stanton said, the executive mansion, Joe Boakai maybe probably got on the phone and started to work the phone, speaking to Conakry, getting the ECOWAS people involved. At the end of the day, you know, the situation was brought down to resolution. Now, I think the government also needs to take a step further to try to investigate the matter. Well, why? I mean, what drove the situation? Why this was happening? Because we don't know yet. I don't know whether anybody here knows. We speculating here. There's the same mining going on. Is it like Guinea want more and most additional land? They want to take oil for what is the issue? And I think the government needs to, if they're doing that, fine. But there has to be a time where they have to brief the nation and give us full information as to what is happening, what was the motivation behind the Guineans' action. And of course, I will go for the government trying to increase presence across our borders. But like you listen to James, he gave you a big number. Yeah, the borderline between Liberia and Guinea is vast. So to provide all of the border points across there, our 2,000 AFL, all of them will have to go there and get the butchers down there try to do that. So the best form of security is, for me, not just necessarily putting boots on the ground, but human security, diplomacy, friendship across the border. And I think we should focus. We already have plenty of problems on our hands to solve in the country. We've been talking about that all year round. So we shouldn't add security clashes to our additional problem here.
No, I don't think we should do that. And we're getting more information. I will reveal this again. The country, the government is working. The government is working actually. The government is doing extremely well. Exactly what this government should be doing to calm the situation. They will make no mistake when people tell you that, well, what do you want the government to do? To go fight? Let me bring in Kev Hassan. Kefiko, let's hear you.
You know, one of the things I will give this government credit for, and I will really give them credit, is the level of PR that they have. The level of PR. And they even infiltrating our guys, the opposition, to and go in the mindset and make them believe that the government is doing something. Listen to Jacob, well, listen to some of our guys. This is troubling. This is troubling. We get a military. This is not the first time. If this was the first time, you would say, okay, maybe let's look into it and let's see what's happening. That's the second time the Guinean army entering into Liberia saw. You hear anything Joseph Boakai said to you the first time? Nobody calling for somebody to go and shoot. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think that's what Phoebe is saying. We're not saying that. You're turning this thing, and Jacob, you turning this thing, right? That's Stanton Road. That's Stanton Road. That is government. That is president. But you turning this thing and saying that the diplomatic, the president. No, this is not the first time. We are not talking about boots on the ground to go and kill somebody. No. What we're saying is why our border is open. Why Guinea is supposed to come and invade and put children out of school? Children were running helter-skelter. The government will not say, since yesterday, Emmanuel George brought that topic up. It was all over. So don't say, I will go and get more information. Just yesterday. And then we come here and say, oh, I don't want bloodshed. I don't want. Just say Imam Boakai is the most lucky person I can see. Because that's not what we are saying. We are saying is that place should be protected, right? And if something like that happens, we should see immediate response. Because this is the second time for the government, not in Jade in the back, then you call Stanton and you tell him to come and sell something.
I don't think you're hearing
something. You understand? And then we on the other side, we the opposition and people and buying this thing. Wilfred, if any foreign force enter America, right, and the government don't do anything, there will be outrage. It will be outrage.
Thank you very much. You are comparing America to have over $1 trillion budget on its planetary alone. Let's go in this sector. Your time is up, Chief. I beg you. Let me bring in Emmanuel George. You flip-flopping now. And thank God you're agreeing with me that this government is doing better. Emmanuel, let's hear you. Emmanuel, you muted, man.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the situation that we have witnessed is a grave situation. Yes, indeed, the government is taking a diplomatic route to solve this challenge. But let me just paint a picture for the Liberian people to understand what is happening here. It is alleged that it was sand mining on the Makona River that encouraged the Guineans to go into Solomba, Lofa County, in Foya District. If many of you don't know or you cannot remember, Foya District is where we recently built a $10 million building for peace and security in the Mana River Basin. Foya District is the official home of the president. From Solomba to Foya is a very short distance. We cannot overlook this. Boots should be on the ground. There should be a form of intelligence present in that area because that is the hometown of the president of the Republic of Liberia. An incursion just took place very close to the home of the president of the Republic of Liberia. And yes, we can do all the diplomacy, but we should also understand that Foya is extremely important to Liberia right now because that is where the president of the Republic is coming from. And therefore, the intelligence should have been strong enough and there should have been a level of security presence within that area. The Minister of Local Government is also from Foya District. It's within his own backyard that this incursion took place. So yes, I want to agree with the rest of the panelists that we should have a diplomatic presence within there, but we should also know that it's a security threat because The president's hometown is Foya, and we have just invested 10 million of Liberian people money in building a estate for the MRU. Again, the borders are porous. I do agree. 590 kilometers, 367 miles of border between Liberia and Guinea. It's a lot of land space to cover. But this particular area is extremely sensitive because we are talking about Foya district right now. And no one in our security network should overlook what have happened. We agree that the Guineans went back to Guinea, but we should prepare ourselves that no one should be able to freely incur in an area that is close to the home of the President of the Republic of Liberia. Thank you.
And welcome to Spoon Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Just everybody have to talk their own, and you just listen, you decide. You just listen. Listen, the best option, and I'll go to my brother Winfrey Russell, it's exactly the option the president took. It's the best option. The chief of staff from Lofa, the president from Lofa. You got two senators, the men that sit on national security as chairman for that committee, Mamo Cyrus, Lofa. Councilor Jara, Lofa. Deputy Speaker, Thomas Fala, Lofa. Senator Sir Joseph, the man that say he'll be political leader, a party there on arrival, Lofa. Can you imagine? Got so many people from Lofa. Go in the government, Finance Minister, Lofa, LRA, Lofa. We can name them all. That's not the problem. That's not an issue. My fellow Liberians, I want you to listen. When you have a problem, you seek a solution. Two things must happen. You got one group in the country, some opposition, want the president to go ahead and take arm and fight Guinea. Is that what we want? We have opposition that kept Hassan and some sedition, not all sedition. They call themselves the redneck sedition. President Boga didn't do good enough. They will go and fight Guinea. Is this the first time the thing happening that Guinea crossed the border? Must we remind sedition? Must we remind sedition? So here's the issue, my people. The step that was taken by President Joseph Yema Boakai is the step that caused the Guinean, and we'll play that video, to put down the flag. And they get in the canoe and they laugh. Okay, please don't gesture. Let me just put your finger down. I know you have a problem on your finger. I beg you, Chief. That step that caused the Guinean to leave Liberia, that's exactly what you call diplomacy. Am I wrong, Russell? Isn't that diplomacy? Somebody said, well, why Guinean king? Read with me. Environmental and security risks in the border zone. The combination of resources extraction, porous border, and limited infrastructure create a severe risk. 1, environmental risks, deforestation. 2, river pollution from mining. 3, wildlife habitat destruction. Security risks, illegal mining network, smuggle route, trafficking of wildlife and timber, cross-border criminal activities. These are some things that people say, yeah, go and fight Guinea. Are you kidding me? What we know today, you don't know, my friend. The president stood. Look at the geopolitical competition for natural resources. Take a look. Iron ore, gold, diamond, timber, hydrological resources, same money, everything. Construction going on over there. We did 14 or 16 years civil war. And some sedition said, Joseph Boakai, you didn't do good enough. Take us to another regional war. Are you kidding me? Russell, I just put this information in the chat room. You can read it through. Let's listen to you, my brother.
Thank you, Stanton. I think you made a great point, and I think a lot of folks have made a great point. I think we're coming at this in so many different angles, which I don't see anything fundamentally wrong with the various perspectives. Also, I do agree that diplomacy was the way to go. I think President Boyka, like, we don't know a lot of what is happening behind the scene. Like Stanton, like you said, like you referenced, the reason the flag came down, which was very provocative to begin with, for the Guinean to even have the audacity to do that. And, so calm heads had to prevail. And so, the president went in there and diplomatically handled the issue. And so that's what brought the flag down. But I also agree to, Stanton, with others who have said that, yes, we've addressed this, hopefully we've addressed this, but we do not need to stop here, and we should not stop here. We should first find out why they did it in the first place and come together with a deterrent to ensure that they don't do it again. And as Mr. Cully said, and Dr. George said, we have a very porous border. We have 3 land border crossing, Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Ivory Coast. The largest or the longest border crossing is with the Ivory Coast, which is like 483 miles, which is equivalent to about 700 and plus kilometers, right? Guinea is the second longest land border crossing we have, at 300 and something miles, right? It is difficult to put border police, border patrol, armed guard, paramilitary, whatever, at all these different border crossings. It's going to be difficult. But a place like Foya, where we have this big infrastructure and important edifice that has been built there, the host presidents and all of that, and it so happens that our president is from there, it is important, and it's incumbent upon the government to ensure that we have a robust security presence there. So I do agree with that. So I think we all are saying some of the same thing, but there needs to be a deterrent, and we need to have sufficient border patrol at all of the main border crossings. Not all of them, because they're very porous. I mean, some of them there's just a walk, a pedestrian path. Many of these border crossing. But we need to strengthen that. But I do agree, Stanton, and do embrace that perspective, that I think the president and the government are doing a good job, or they did a good job in this case, in trying to avert what would have been, a very a dangerous situation, a potentially dangerous situation. He de-escalated it. The Guineans brought the flag down, but they should go in there and talk to the Guineans and tell them it has to be this carrot and it's be sure you don't do this nonsense again, so that we have to take the carrot and the stick approach, Stanton. Beef up the security at these main border crossings.
I thank you very much. Let's show some picture before we go to Phoebe, guys. Everybody will be closing on this. This is huge. This is big. I want to say to all of you again, thank God for the good leadership, by the way. Man, I would be. That's the Guinean flag. Again, we just want to remind every one of you, these guys in Liberia, you can look at them. We'll put more pictures up for you to see. The guys on the planted the flag, but guess what happened? Listen, 2 things. Listen, look, just imagine, just look at this. These are Guineans. Just look at this.
Yeah, that's very provocative.
Just look at this. So, when your hand is in the lion mouth, that's what we always say. Let's put a chin on the lion. Everybody agree the lion said, wait, who would be the person to put a chin on the lion? That's why you have leadership. And that's why we are pleased. I am pleased I heard a lot today, a lot of conversation. And up to tonight, the president is still working. He's still engaging, still calling Tinubu, still calling the Guinean president, still calling Ivorian president. He's still on the phone with the Sierra Leone president. They are still talking. He's still talking to his counterpart. And at the end of the day, the Guinean got him brought down a flag. Now you can tell me that we need people at the border. I agree with Russell. I put people there. But the best option is the option I was taking today. Joseph Boakai served as commander-in-chief of the Republic of Liberia. Nobody died, no shot fired. The guys that took down the flag. Who can put forth? Who can argue? Who for peaceful diplomacy? Fubi.
So, like I said earlier, I didn't say the Liberian government should go open fire and create war with the Guineans. I said the first thing, this incident didn't start today. So they knew that this is something that was happening, and this is something that was already in the air. So you have securities on the ground to these kind of places. You don't leave it vulnerable for the people to be threatened. So it's a big shame on the government. There's no diplomacy issue here about that. The government should not even allow that place to be vulnerable for the Guineans to cross in, take down your flag, put their flags up, and wait for a longer time before in the evening they took their flag down and crossed the river and went back to Guinea. That should not have happened. I didn't say Liberia should open fire. Have your security presence at this point. You don't have to put every single crossing point, but there should be a regular patrol to all of these border crossings. You can have a sub base, and you have support for your guys to look. Let them patrol these areas regularly. That's why they are called security. They don't call security be sent out to Camp Keseri and eating chicken and stuff. They should be at all these places. That's what they are paid for. And the money that you give to NSA, 50 million, this other million, some other money to go to the AFL to support them. And if you need to recruit more to support. That's what we're saying. So we're not saying Guinea and Liberia should open war. No, that's not my point. You should have these places well supported. You should have your military presence. The diplomacy can come. You can have the kind of diplomatic talk. It's fair. But you should have security on the ground. Guineans should not come and intimidate Liberians. Some people are running and packing their loads, leaving for fear of a possible outbreak of war. And that should not happen. And that's why I say it's a shame on the government. If somebody can walk into your house every time and disturb your family and walk back outside, it means that you can't protect your family. And that's a shame on you as the head of the home. So the government needs to take steps for this not to happen again. Whatever diplomatic approach they're using, they should also have their military presence. We're not saying go fight war with Guinea. But if Guineans are across that border, even when they're on that water and they are seeing Liberian military there, there will have been a different approach. They will not walk there and go grab it. They didn't see no sign in Sierra Leone. So Guinea needs to be put in her place. The Guineans got to know that we are all families. We live across we cross the border. We have interrelationship. The tribes are the same around the same area. So Guinea must know that.
Fubi, I think you're just repeating yourself, Fubi. I want us to argue today.
No, I'm repeating that.
Fubi, it happened.
You're better for it to hear one contingent to go by.
What have to understand? What have to understand?
I think Fubi has been so erratic on the subject.
Yeah, if you, James, will bring you on.
I even say that. I even call it very erratic on the subject.
So okay, one minute. Let me bring in Uncle Sam, right? I got to play this. Hold on, Uncle Sam, take a look.
I put a flag up.
Before we play the let's
Where they going to go and them up. And now, while we continue on as a they said that anybody that wants to go here, from here, from to the border, to the crossing point, until now, to 4 years. If you want to live there, you have to take, you have to take paper installation for Guinea. That's why we don't want it to be up to distance. We don't have soldiers in the river. We don't have anybody in the river that can speak on our behalf according to the way they take you. As you can see now, they're putting their level up. As they're putting their level up, as you can see, yes, as you can see the level up now to the different side. That's what is happening now. Yes. Yeah. All right. That's what now is doing. As you can see, that is wrong. That is wrong. According to all the past government, it never ever happened here. The people say that the chief of staff of Nigeria went to Guinea. The internal affairs minister went to Guinea. They went to hold their meeting. Rescue mission has come to manage.
Oh, Stanton, let me sing all now. Let me sing a part.
Now, where it start? If you have the rest of his son, I will play. That's where it starts. Uncle Sam, let me ask you a question, though. Uncle Sam, well, I mean, the planted the flag. It was very intense, and I should say this, and I also want to play this quickly. That's the same thing. Okay, so Uncle Sam, let's hear you. Are you on the line? We'll move to the next person. Wanto, welcome to the show. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you, CEO. I think this is already critical issues. There are a few things I probably will comment on specifically. One is obviously, I like to think about a reawakening.
Congratulations to you. So we pass that one.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate the congratulations, the kind words from everyone, every Liberian. Standard, one of the most important things that we can take out of this is one, we live in a very contested region currently. The last time you had one of the experts that was talking about terroristic act across West Africa region, I think Nigeria. And the reason we downplay this is Guinea is spending, we're spending less than 30% of our budget on about 30% of our budget is being spent on our military. Guinea allocated around 12% on their military. So one is show the disparity already we have in terms of military conquest. We're not even close compared to Guinea. A lot of time we speak about a lot of developmental issues, but security risk is also extremely critical. And this is not really about politics, it's more about patriotic extended conversation. Is that Liberia does not have the security investment that could be able to protect us when in this kind of situation. And that's the first thing we have to underscore. The second thing here is that the situation, the context here is extremely bigger. What happened today in Guinea cannot be dismissed as a local, misunderstanding between people. This is an international violations, especially when it comes to international law. There's a sovereignty issue. Our sovereignty was being violated by the encroachment on our border. And the way we respond to this is, one, we have the diplomatic response. Despite the fact there is bilateral talk, Liberia has the right to register this as an international violation to ECOWAS, to the UN as well. We are on the Security Council, and we should leverage the kind of influence that we have as a country. We can't be on the Security Council and be looking at this just from a diplomatic misunderstanding. We have a right to register this entire scenario as a diplomatic breach on the UN Security Council. This is an international law violation. The second part is we must be able to strengthen our security sector. And this is something that the government must see as what we saw at the border. There was a vulnerable border. Even if we disagree with the file of the response, we did not see anything that could stand as a protection mechanism if there's an encroachment. These people came with just few arms. They didn't even come with heavy artillery and so forth. Our military, when we look at our military, what kind of resource we have in our military? We are extremely vulnerable when it comes to security risks. And for me, that's my big takeaway that I would take from this situation. One is we must respond diplomatically. We must recognize that we don't have any security in our country.
Thank you. Let me bring you James. James, let's hear you quickly.
Thank you. I think the panelists. I think the panelists have honed in very important points. Great. I think the panelists have honed in.
Do not touch our microphone. Get talk, man.
Okay, great.
Everything alone, yeah.
Okay. So I think the panelists have honed in very important points, but I just like to pick up on this note. So states generally are composed of subjects. States are run by subjects, individuals, human beings. And there's a tendency for states to actually have the ability to want to exercise some form of force, especially where the state realized that it has this asymmetric power capabilities. So in the case of Liberia and Guinea, there is this military asymmetric capability. Guinea has more military might than Liberia does. And over time, Guinea has been able to showcase its military capability. A classic case in point was during the inaugural ceremony of its president. We saw the display of the military, and we saw the display of the weapons and weaponries. And from a context of a security study, that's something that should draw the attention of regional or neighboring countries. So we call that security dilemma. So every time there is an upgrade in one country's military capability, it poses a threat to the neighboring country. Therefore, it puts a pressure on you. Pressure may not be the word, but it should send a message to you. There's a tendency, there's a possibility that there could be aggression. There's a possibility that the state will take advantage of its military capability to one day want to encroach into your territory. I don't want to say this was the case, with Liberia and Guinea today, but it is something to always remember that as much as we are pursuing all of the diplomatic channels, we should also remember to invest in the military. We should also think about the asymmetric power capability and the security dilemma situation along the border. Very important. And as we engage this conversation, I really want us to be a little less erratic, and a little less emotional about the situation. I know there's
emotional,
but we have to act with much delicacy and caution.
I don't think the show.
Why would you say some people are erratic?
Yeah, I don't know who you think erratic yet, but it can be you, my man. What we do yet? Sorry, maybe
it's a political show. It's a political show. We're not in church, my brother.
James, you always welcome. Let me bring in Colonel Aaron Gray. Colonel Gray, I hear you because I was uploading this video. I need to play it, and we need to hear from you. Let's watch this video.
Okay, so after the meeting yesterday, the people stay cross. They came, they take over the whole place. I think you can see. Amen.
Colonel Gray, I play that because I want you to respond sincerely, though. They are in Liberia marching, and the lady said, after the meeting, a meeting was held by the Chief of Staff and that of the Internal Affairs, now local government minister, Francis Yemeni. And after that meeting, everything that they agree upon, these guys then enter Liberia. And imagine they are uniform, marching for a takeover, Colonel Gray.
Stanton, back in the 80s, I think it was 84, Sierra Leone encroached in Liberian territory over at Cape Mount and killed one of our soldiers. In addition to that, I was in Liberia 2008, and I decided to do just a feasibility study on the porosity of our border. In Cape Mount alone, I counted 54 entry points where people can walk in. How much more we're talking about Guinea? Lofa. And one thing I want to say, Liberia has some resources. Those of us who have served the military, I think we should have an all-volunteer army standing, not necessarily being paid. And if that happens, some of us will be some of the first people that will go and volunteer our service. Question is, how many individuals are ready to do that? Secondly, I think there should be deployment at the border there to deter this, because I don't believe this is the end. This is that they're testing the water. They may want to come back this time. And when somebody say few men with arms, they were not too armed, you don't know where they set their command post. You're assuming that few you saw there, that was it. And then secondly, it is not the presence of the military weapon that determines the strength and capacity of a military. The U.S. would have won Vietnam had that been the case. But here's the deal. We have to be able to make sure that we man our borders, because we're in strange times. If somebody can do this, a friendly force, a friend in the sense that Guinea and us, we in so many other agreements. And for them to walk into look, it was very, very difficult to watch that particular moment when they walked into our border. But there was this argument in Liberia, nobody's going to invade our territory, so no need a large army. That was the argument by pundits who feel that the AFL at some point, disobey their rules and disobey their commitment to guide the people of Liberia. I get it. But you see what happened there. That tells you that we need to focus too on our security. Many have said it. And we're building entities around the border that we call in FOIA in the region. There's a reason why the public put that there now. Now you can see that there's a need for us to meet on a regular basis. What I would say is this: if we don't pay attention to how we'll begin to develop the AFL or the armed forces, this is why we're going to be suffering territorial disintegrity all throughout. The people are going to come through our border and do anything. Nothing we can do, because you know what? We said nobody was going to invade us, so therefore we should not pay attention to the military. This is a clear. People should open their eyes. This is going to be the regular phenomenon in the region. Soon
Thank you very much. Folks. Then welcome our brother T. We'll do a quick close. I know everybody wants to squeeze in something. It's only important, Jacob, I will say this to you, that at least the people have a sigh of relief tonight. The Guinean soldiers are not at the border on our side, on Liberia's side. And, you know, they retreated. Let's play it when they were leaving. Let's play the video.
Don't worry, they'll play now. Wajo mungo mindubunya mala bela ya atuana yengente wajo mungo la bela ya atuana yengente la bela na mundu mbala la bela no jeni la bela no jeni la bela no jeni la bela no jeni thank you
There you have it. There you have it. I want to say again, it's good having every one of you back. Let's come to you, Jacob, then we can bring in T. Like we said, we agree. We needed boots on the ground. We agree we needed somebody at the border. But something extraordinary took place. A mature diplomacy took place. I'm going to put it like that. A mature diplomacy took place. The Liberian people, we need to learn something. Maybe after this mistake, like Conor Gray said, Fulvey said, and every one of us, most of us, the AFL will put somebody at the border. People will be at the border. But one good thing is that a mature diplomacy. Now we can talk about please put boots on the ground. And Liberians should embrace this. This is unique. So Jacob, that's the message. We got to talk about Kanga. They fire him. We got to talk about other issues. But what I'm seeing today, Jacob, to be frank with you, a complete mature diplomacy. I believe, that's me, that's my own word. Opposition are angry. Some, not all of them. You listen to Emmanuel George, you were being gracious. Some opposition, they wanted something bad to happen. They wanted the worst to happen. I know CMC, Musa Bedi to put a letter on, a very unique one. Some. But guys, we shouldn't have made a mistake. You cannot be wishing evil on your own country. They wanted for the Guinean to shoot. They wanted for the country, somebody to die. Yeah, I'm saying it. And they want to say, see the old man, he brought war. But the old men were very meticulous. The old men were very sound. The old men were unique, and he was together. And he began a place called within the region. He going to deploy his advisors and people involved. Samuel Kofi Woods. He began to deploy other people to call within the region and said, no. We will solve this problem not by bullet, but through the diplomacy channel. And that's exactly what happened. But I also want to salute the young men and women that gathered and they raised the flag. I want to salute them. I want to salute them. You know why? It took courage. It took everything in them. It took being a Liberian. And that's why you came with your guns and your bazooka and your bullet. They came in peace and said, united we stand, divided we fall. They forgot that they are not sedition, they are not UPACE, they are not CMC, they are not ANC, they are not whatever C or P, they are Liberian, and they came together and said, united we stand, divided we fall. And they begin to raise the flag, and they begin to sing, oh, hail, Liberia, hail, oh, hail, oh, hail, Liberia, hail. And after that song, they begin to pledge their allegiance. And I see them saluting the flag and say within themselves, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the Republic of Liberia. There was no sound of gun, no, there was no bullet, there was nothing. And this is what we're talking about, my fellow Liberian. A mature diplomacy, a signed negotiation. And this one, the government won. Now we fix the issue. You're concerned that we put AFL at the border. But this one, what did they come again? The government restored and told her nation through a release. The government said to them, government of Liberia all just come as diplomatic effort continuing over Liberia gaining border situation. Period. Signed, Jerry Limick and Matthew Pierre, the information minister. So I beg to leave this conversation, folks. If you have your own, you say your own. But where we are right now, Liberians are going to bed, signed, peaceful. Under the
give us 10 seconds each to close on it.
Again, to God be all the glory. Let's hear you, Jacob. Let's hear you. I know everybody asked for 10 seconds. Let's give it to them, but Liberia know exactly you have a mature leader that will be quiet, work from the back, and restore that calmness that the country so deserves. Jacob.
Yes. Thanks. I mean, one of the key fundamental power of this show is the diversity of opinion we have here. You know, we don't have a choir. It's not a choir master here where we compare thoughts. No, we are free mind, and people are here to express their thoughts freely. Especially, I come from a political party, and we do have our approach to politics, to national issues. So I do my best to stay close to my party strategy and our methods and our approach to public life, public dialogue, and public discussion and public policy. So I'm happy. I don't have a problem with people disagreeing with me, and I think Fubi has his right to opinion. I respect it, and nobody should even try to condemn me for his opinion. That's how he's seen it. It's like the elephant in the dark. You know, everybody trying to test it. Somebody hold the ear to say the trunk and all of that. So we'll see from a different angle, which is totally fine. The beauty of the show. Yeah, but I think I mean, much has been said on this matter already. I think diplomatic solution for me, I'm always going to go that route, and I think that's the right road the government took. For example, the people you saw there today, and if you play the video here with the young people who hoisted Liberia's flag, do you know what with all the bullets, the ammunition, everything? Do you know why those army people were powerless against those people, young people? It was simply because they were peaceful. They didn't have weapons. So if you utilize peace, if you utilize non-violent approach, it can be the greatest power sometimes that can be exhibited. And I think with all the weapon, everything, the Guineans are very powerless against them because they didn't have weapons. So sometimes we have to tread this path and use wisdom to resolve this kind of matter. Again, I agree with some of what Kev said and some of what Fubi said. We need to increase our security presence, even as immigration, our border point, we need to do our very best. And we need to take some of the resources we spend, for example, at the legislature, to invest in our security in the AFL. We spent $50 million in the legislature.
Guys, just 30 seconds. And when we want to move from here, 11 o'clock, we beg you guys. We say again, let's make this thing happen. Kev, we're watching your 30 seconds, brother.
Well, man, listen, Stanton, anybody on the show yet listen to what the people are saying? Did anybody get it? And Dr. George, Wayfair Russell, you get it? The people said they had a meeting. They had a meeting. So the diplomatic mission or whatever you was talking failed. Why they went to Guinea with the chief of staff and the internal affairs minister, the Guinean, throw them out. They walk into Foya. And you know what the people say again? This never happened in the previous government. So they took the law into their own hands. They will say that I say the government. What Stanford is doing is a complete PR for the government. It's a complete PR. Period. Listen to the voice of the people in Foya. Listen to the people. Not what Stanford is saying. It's PR.
You sit
So
on
you
the show
come back.
and
So
tell them,
you
listen to the people and ask what Stanton's saying. Kev, you're
because
failure.
you're PR.
Kev, you're complete failure, Kev. You're failure.
Listen to
There's
the people.
no reason why I ain't going to argue with you.
Are you a concept that? Are you asking to tell us that Joseph Imam Bokai? Why the people saying something? Say Joseph Imam Bokai with a steady hand. The people telling you that nothing happened. You listen to the people. The people said the people said there was a meeting and the meeting failed.
Thank you.
So the meeting failed. That PR.
Emmanuel George, they got a song we play whenever we go to church and we're in the Holy Spirit. We say, I got my mind made up and I won't turn back because I want to see my Jesus.
Jesus, someday I got my mind made up.
So take it home. Dr. George, I will say to you, right? It's shameful. I'm hurt. There's some sedition wish evil every day to come to Liberia. I'm disturbed. The people see young men and women put a flare up. So the Guinean get scared with BB gun. And they say, we'll put our flare down and go. Now what made the Guinean people to leave Liberia? Because they saw young men and women with no gun, nothing. They put a flare up. Russell, you understanding? Some people own ideas. Does that make sense? The people came in Liberia, and I want us to sink in the minds of Liberians. They came to Liberia. Look at this. Look at this. They came to Liberia, right? They got everything. They were fortified. They went through the different terrain, right? They stood there and planted a flag, right? Liberian listen though. They did all of that. They said we ain't going and everything. They came with the trucks and everything. There are small sedition.
I have a question. I have a question for you, Stanton.
There are small sedition came here on the show today, telling us, Emmanuel George, that after all of that, they planted a flag, they marched there, they only left Liberia because they saw the beginning saluting Liberia.
Don't take it away from the hero. Those children are
the beginning saluting Liberia flag. So therefore, they left. Does that make sense, Conor Gray? Who walked in the back? Joseph Yima Boakai. Who called Tinubu? Joseph Yima Boakai. Who called the Guinean? The Sarah Besro Yanti, they were on the line. Then you want to tell me, bravo to this young man.
Stanton, can I ask you a question, please? Stanton?
Interrupting me.
No, I need to ask a question because you're just going off tangent. Let me ask you a simple question.
Uncle Sam, I got to debunk.
Listen to me. Okay, the question is, let me finish here. I beg you. Has the Liberian government released a statement and explained to the Liberian people what happened at the border for us to know instead of us guessing?
No, they will not do it.
No, because that's the thing. So Stanton, I believe. Let me finish. Then I beg you. I take all the big. Okay.
You interrupting. You want to ask question. You ask question. Wait.
No, but I'm saying. Yeah, but I mean, this is a follow up. There's a follow up. And there's a. After you. Yeah. Okay. The government has listen. Whatever happened there. Okay. It was resolved peacefully. We are happy for that. Unlike the UP that wanted the government of Liberia to sink and lie on Joe. He said he ate people's hearts. He was harvesting labor that 3 missing boys, and the whole country was caving in. So that stepped down. They did what I want them. The nerve for you to say that seditions won for things to cave in Liberia. It is a UP that did everything within their might
okay, to sully this government, to lie on the CDC government. Okay, the question that we should be asking the government of the Republic of Liberia.
Asking a question.
No. Let them release a statement. Let them release a statement and tell the Liberian people what happened at the border and how to resolve it. Period. In a conversation. We want to live in a peaceful place. I'm investing money in Liberia every day. I need to have a peaceful environment. So nobody should say that we want everything to chakla here. I have my wife here. I have my children here in Liberia. Nobody want nothing to chakla in Liberia. So maybe that's what the you people wanted, but not what we want. That's not what we want. That's not what we want, Stanton. Nobody wants war in this country.
Uncle Sam, thank you. Your question is 10 minutes. Uncle Sam, did you see this from the Minister of Information?
I didn't see it, but I just saw it, and then I pressed me up and tell what the government said.
Yes or no? Did you see this?
I didn't see it. Send it to me, please.
Thank you very much. It's in the chat room reading. Uncle Sam, this is unfortunate, and I don't want to hold the other guys down. This is totally unfortunate. You post picture about saying that with money. You post anything and everything. They tell you they didn't see this. This is disturbing, especially.
But that's not what we Jackson asked
Emmanuel George. At the end of the day, Emmanuel, let's hear you, my brother. Uncle Sam, I hope you keeping on, Uncle Sam. We are concerned about you. We are concerned about you, Uncle Sam. We are concerned about you. Emmanuel, let's hear you. Uncle Sam, we are concerned about you. They put out to you a long time, you tell us say nothing. You bring it about Joey eating somebody hot. That Joey eating somebody hot we talking about, yeah? Come on, man. Emmanuel Joe, let's talk.
Yeah, so to close on this topic, as a Liberian, I'm proud, I'm happy, I'm excited.
What are you doing? I was saying drink some more water, you need it. You're feeling 2-3 bottles of water tonight.
Despite our political differences, despite our religious differences, despite our different economic status, the Liberian people in Solumba, Foya district, rally around to show each and every one of us on this program tonight and listening to us what it means to be patriotic citizen of your nation. My respect goes to the citizen out there in Solumba, Foya district, Lofa County. As we congratulate our citizens out there and as we learn the lessons of being patriotic Liberians, we should also appreciate the diplomatic effort. It's great. But as Fubi Chief Henry said, this is not the first time. This is not the second time. This is not the third time. Neither is it the fourth time. We cannot and should not continue to accept that the Guineans can walk into our country at any time at their will and pleasure with the military forces, and each time we are the one clapping and dancing for them to leave. No. Foya district is the center of our presidency outside of Monrovia, and we should not allow this kind of incursion with impunity to continue as a country. So yes, we thank the government for the diplomatic effort, but we should start seeing something happening and remind our Guinean counterparts that they cannot continuously, with impunity, continue to invade our nation. And again, my respect goes to the citizens of Solumba, Foya district, Lofa County. Thank you.
So guys, let's move. We say thanks to the young men and women. I want to say to all of you, we shouldn't be repetitive. Let me bring James back quickly. We'll hear you, T. Wanoka. Just hold on. T, let's hear you, then we'll bring in James to do his closing because he got to leave. Then from there, we will move to other topic. But bravo to the country. Bravo to our men and women. And the government is in control. To God be all the glory. T.
Tata, you can hear me? I just want to piggyback off of what you said earlier, and also what Conor Gray said, that Liberia's armed forces, we have the opportunity I think that we have the resources to invest. Just because we are in peacetime and just because everything around us seems so quiet, it does not mean that we should forget about the armed forces. Yes, I agree completely with you that very important diplomatic efforts were made and they are probably still ongoing that contributed to the peaceful resolution, of the situation in Lofa. I want to also add to those of you who have applauded the young people who show real courage, who show patriotism and love for nation. The idea that the situation, in spite of the fact that the Guinean soldiers came like they're going to battlefield and things like that, the idea that that issue was resolved peacefully is a win-win for all of us. And anybody who want to put a spin on it and say this and say that, I don't know how that helped their political strategy, but I think it was a very, very successful diplomacy. Some of the things that we don't see that play out in the background. Of course, nobody here, whether from CMC, UP, any party, nobody here want conflict. We want the situation to be resolved peacefully, and that's what happened in this case. But we should not forget that the gentleman who spoke earlier, I admire what he said, that when it comes to security policy, somebody can easily take advantage of you anytime and disrespect you if they feel like you don't have the physical ability to react. We should invest in our armed forces. The AFL should be treated with respect. It should not just be about, putting them back in barracks and removing people from there. It should go beyond that. We should take care of them. And people who want to disrespect our sovereignty, they should recognize the idea that the AFL is strong. And when need be, the AFL will act. That's all I got to contribute to this on this particular topic. Thank you, Stanton.
Yeah, I'll bring you back quickly. Let's hear James Cody closing because he got to go. Where is he? Is he there? No? Yeah? Okay. Okay, I think James Cody has a problem. All right. So, guys, we want to say thanks to all of you. It's really important to have you on. But something surprising took place today. And I want to bring in my brother, Chief Fubi Henry. Fubi, but where is Jacob Jala? Fubi, the ombudsman, Fubi, who is he? Can you bring us up to speed a little bit about this guy? Yeah, Fanle Kanga.
No, for me, he said he resigned. So for me, I think
he didn't resign. You were forced to resign. We shouldn't make this look. Is this him, right? That's him?
It looks like I don't know it too good.
Yeah, well, it looks like him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. That's Councillor Fanle Kanga. So that's the issue, though. He's the ombudsman. I mean, what's his job as an ombudsman, Fubi?
He should make sure one of the critical role there is to ensure that the code of conduct is being adhered to by public officials. So that's a
Emmanuel, you play with your computer? You play with your computer? So for me though, the code of conduct, but the code of conduct and him. This allegation is huge, Fubi. Okay, let's do it real quick because James got to go. James, let's hear your closing on this border thing because we're switching now.
Thank you, Stanton. And it's very important to have this conversation. And again, the way we address interstate matters, interstate conflict, it is not how we address our internal political party issues. Interstate matters are handled with this much caution, this much care, because it borders on the collective safety, the collective security of both states. And I think, like I earlier said, I think the approach of the government is very, very, very correct. And I think that's the right approach. The first approach is to engage at the diplomatic level, while you are also making the necessary intervention also in beefing up your security apparatus. And security dilemma, as I've always said, is very important. And whenever I'm talking to my students, I always talk about security dilemma. Whenever you have the military might of your neighbor being beefed up, being enhanced, it sends a message to you, whether directly, indirectly, consciously or subconsciously, you should be aware that there could be some desire sometimes in the future to want to wage some kind of aggression. Again, I don't want to say this was the case, but again, it's always important to always keep that in mind. So the government of Liberia should now begin investing into the military, beefing up the physical capability, because this issue now is a state-centric issue that requires urgent attention and requires some investment. Again, kudos to the government for this intervention, and I think this is the right approach moving forward. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm always open to share my insight and my perspective on these issues.
You are always welcome, James. We do appreciate you coming on tonight to share with us. And again, thank you very much. Thank you a lot. We do appreciate you. All right. Have a good night, James. We'll wait for our brother to come back. Again, Fubi, I was asking you, can you bring us up to speed with the ombudsman? He was fired, but he begged to resign prior to them firing him. And a full investigation took place on him, ladies and gentlemen. But this is kind of this allegation that he asked the people that are working with him, Emmanuel George, to take $500 from their paycheck. And again, recording and everything. They did a full investigation, Emmanuel. Everybody that working in that place must give $500 to him. And they gave him $500 for me. The day they stop giving him $500, he fire you. I mean, when you, I mean, you
500 US or 500 Liberian?
500 US. What kind of shit allegation? Something that kind of paper will go take 500 from people then because he hired them, and he taking the gas slip, $50 gas slip. He take $35 and get him $15. Is Liberia that hard for a counselor?
Yes, it is.
It's Liberia, Uncle Sam. When we hear about counselor friendly, Kanga, is Liberia that desperate? Is this where the lawyers are going out to hustle?
Stanton, just go to the Pinsville Magisterial Court and see lawyers there looking for cases. Okay, all of us know that. There be about 10 lawyers here at the top that do very well, but most of the lawyers in this country don't do well at all. Let me tell you today. Okay, the top 10.
So he hired this young man, right? The reports there. Let me put it in the chat room. He hired them, and he tell us, listen. He show y'all take pay, y'all do mobile money, y'all give me $500 of your paycheck. Who does that?
Shame on him.
And you talking about what's the guy full name? Counselor
Finlay Kanga.
Kanga. The man name represent even if they got teachers at the university, I think he taking bribe. If he does,
oh yeah.
If he teaching at the law school, they will question him.
And producing some Bawati lawyers.
How can the man bring hustling in the ombudsman? So all that thing he was saying that the people then they didn't follow the code of conduct. Code of conduct ate him.
He ate a code of conduct.
Somebody eat somebody. Somebody eat that somebody eat into a place. Russell, this is not laughing to Russell. When I heard this guy name, when President Bouakai hired him, I felt good because you know what? We had our brother Lamin Pako on the show. You remember? And the Papi hired Lamin too. So I was impressed. But I didn't know that this allegation, a very cheap allegation, a very, very cheap allegation. Russell, let's say you Fubi, Emmanuel George, your talk. And, you know, how can you disgrace yourself like that, my fellow Liberian? Russell, cut me up, man.
Well, you know, if these allegations are true,
the day investigation. Let me put it in there. The picking toy is on recording. Just look in the chat room. Look in the chat room, Russell. The picking day full-fledged investigation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think Stanton, what they says, what they says, and there's still you know, there's no excuse for this, certainly, but what it says is just these sort of unscrupulous practices and corrupt practices that we seem to be happening throughout the government, throughout the country, and the government for sure. It tells you how endemic corruption is in the country. And I'm glad that, you know, that after the investigation, they found him guilty. I'm glad that he was let go, because we have to say no to impunity. We have to start people, you know, the consequences of their actions. You know, in this case, I mean, we, you know, there has to be deterrence. You know, there have to be deterrence, and for someone at this level doing that to poor people, you know, gouging them, you know, stealing. I mean, literally stealing from them. I mean, that's is unacceptable. You know, Stanton. You know, this reminds me of a situation that I was involved with, managing a project out in River G, and we used to have these villagers come in, mainly women, and they would bring water before we set up a water supply system, and they were getting, Stanton, check this out, right? We used to pay them $1 a day, right? And the guy who was the foreman for that project, he was scheming on, and you know, so we had a lot of women who used to come to try to get jobs, you know, obviously, but we couldn't take all of them at one time. So what we did, we set up a system. We say, okay, you will come every Tuesdays and Thursday, and the other group will come every a Monday or Wednesday or Friday, you know, stuff like that. We stagger it in that manner. And so we had a foreman there, a young guy from the University of Liberia, young guy. You know, I mean, that was the most disappointing and discouraging thing. And this guy was just a foreman, you know, ensuring that, you know, he was coordinating the system. And that dollar we're paying those women, you know, to get you in the door, or to get maybe an extra day or so. He was skimming off 25 cents for every dollar those women were making a day. He was skimming off 25 cents. I mean, that's how bad the system is. That's how desperate. But you know, that was at that level. So someone at this level, that this guy is doing that. I mean, it just goes to show you how entrenched and how endemic corruption is in the country. There's no excuse, of course, and that's why we need to do everything possible to rid this country, or at least minimize corruption in the country, Stanton. So I'm glad he was fired.
He was not fired.
I agree. Let me bring in Jacob and go to Dr. Josh. Jacob, if you don't mind, you will ride this thing to 7:30 because you're in studio. That will be 7:30 my time, 11:30 your time, and then we will have to leave it there. The main training issue today, though, we saw the speaker asking for Gafwan to come to pay them. We're talking about the border, the man behind Gafwan, and as you can see, well, that's their own story. Everybody have their time. His time is coming up, so we won't spend much time on that. We'll also discuss about the border issues. We are discussing the ombudsman, a firing that was done today. I think I appreciate the president for dismissing him. That was a disgrace, especially, you know, the lowest tiers, right? The lowest hanging fruit, Jacob. You go to the people that suffer to come to work every day, taking money from their paycheck. Who does that? That's crazy. But Uncle Sam said that's what happened in the country because the country hard. So on behalf of me, myself, and the entire show, I want to say thank you. We do appreciate you. I'm going to leave it here because I got to go pray for my country and tell God thank you for Joseph Yuma Bwaka for the very, very serious work and very, very sound mind approach to this bordercracy. Jacob, we give it to you. Nelson is in studio, and you can take it away. Thank you.
So now I'm in Stanton's seat.
Okay.
Right. So we can just. Me too. I'm not going to be here for long. I have to kind of run. It's almost getting close to midnight. it's after 11 o'clock. I need to make my
up to
way.
11:30.
Yeah, so we can just go around on the issue. I think the two issues, right, is situation with Councillor Kanga, Ombudsman, and of course the situation at the legislature. Maybe
We
we
can
can
just
just
make it a closing round.
I can make my comment quick on it so I can leave.
yeah. So we're closing, right? So we just
Okay.
get everybody going around, and then everybody make their closing comment of the day, and then
Yeah.
we can leave.
Yeah, so I did read the report. I think for me it's extremely troubling for many reasons. The first reason is the office in itself, the chairman of the office of ombudsman is extorting money from his own staff. Is troubling because the rule exists only because it investigates abuse of power, conflicts of interest, and unethical conduct by public officials. So the irony here is that the rule that exists to be able to investigate unethical conduct is caught in a very layer of unethical conduct. That in itself is extremely troubling. So what kind of public leaders we have, the accountability mechanism over the period of time, the rule, preserved, and the question also the kind of individual we appoint into accountability spaces. This is the worst kind of thing anybody can imagine. The very guy who should be the whistleblower is the one caught in an exceptional act. And not the other thing I also found very interesting in this is that he is the head of the investigation of the code of conduct for public officials. He is the same person who investigates ethical violation in government. He ensured that asset declaration and compliance is being done, and he prevented the office from conflicts of interest. And imagine that discretion. All of that discretion fit into exactly the very crime we are speaking about. So this guy blatantly violated the very crime that he should be investigating. And for me, I think it's troubling. It's terrible for us. The other aspect in terms of the Minister of Finance, which I want to close on, is very interesting. First of all, I do not support any violation from public official or any branch of government. But it might be surprising for you to know that the legislature only understands their rules and regulation when it has to do with their personal benefit and salary. It's very fascinating. I've never seen anything very hypocritical in that nature. So the legislature is calling for contempt on the Minister of Finance, not on the basis of the fact that there is extreme hardship in the country, there is unemployment, or they need some clarity on policy, or even on the budget. The very legislature we currently have passed the budget without any kind of conversation specifically on critiquing the budget. But today they are calling the Minister of Finance, saying that they want to be able to hold in contempt. So I found it very interesting, and that's where my comment is for both.
Yes, thanks. Can we keep our closing to maximum 1 minute, please?
Yeah, just to close on this, Jacob, the second paragraph on the resignation, President Boka expressed appreciation to Councillor Kanga for his service to public. You're listening. This president is telling, the second paragraph, you read it, is telling the public that he appreciates.
But that's not your time to close, though. They didn't reach to you to close yet. How you can get No, Jacob said
for his service to the Republic of Liberia, for his contribution, right? For his contribution, right? And he praised him and also say he promoting ethical standard in public service. That's what the president is saying. The president is the president is saying that this man is a good man. So everything they say about him is not true. You read the second paragraph. You read it.
Okay.
So this president is saying that this man is promoting ethical. Well, ethical. It's right there in the second paragraph. Let me see. Promoting an ethical standard in public service. Mario Judge, you read it, right? It's right there. So how can we say what I'm hearing is that he was tough. He's trying to bring them and they rally around to fire him, for him to be removed. So he couldn't stand it anymore. That's why I get it. Because if you look around this government, if you look, around this entire government, right? You will see these guys going against the ethical standard, and the ombudsman should hold them. And you remember, they took the ombudsman to court, Mo Ali and them. They went to court.
Okay.
So what they're trying to do is to wipe out ethical standard. But the president praised him, so how can we say he corrupt?
All right. Thank you, Kev. So we're moving. Emmanuel Josh.
Thank you. I want to thank every one of you for the conversation we had this evening. Thank our listener for listening to us on Facebook, YouTube, and on different radio stations. And those of you who are commenting on Facebook, thank you for your comments. It's appreciated. Look, the situation in Lofa County is a situation that has repeated itself for many years. In how much we appreciate diplomacy, we also should be firm so that nobody can think that it can always overrun Liberia at any time, as the Guineans have been doing over the years. So hopefully this government will take it seriously. The invaders went into Foya district outside of Monrovia. That is the second security zone because that's the home of the president. There where the president goes for his vacation. And that area should be protected. When you come to the ombudsman, some of you said he was fired. He was not fired. He resigned. And the president accepted his resignation. I want to encourage Francis K.D. Cooper to take him to court and sue him for withholding from him $2,130 plus the interest, and for wrongfully dismissing him, as it was said in the investigation of the HR director. The president made a mistake. A gentleman who oversaw a $100 million project at USAID, according to his CV. A gentleman who has been respected in Liberia as a human rights lawyer, stole from his special assistant and dismissed that special assistant. And in the dismissal letter, he claimed he dismissed it because of poor performance. And there is no record in the Human Rights Department that the performance of Francis K.D. Davis was poor. The president should not have accepted that resignation. Councillor Kanga should have been dismissed. And I'm calling on the University of Liberia also, where he's serving as a lecturer in a law school, a school that have been plagued with a lot of scandal in the last 2-3 years, that they should remove him from the faculty immediately. We cannot have such a person who have been investigated and found guilty still teaching at the law school. And I think the president erred by accepting a resignation from someone who have been investigated and found that he wrongfully treated Mr. Francis K.D. Cooper. Mr. Cooper, please take that gentleman to court.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Russell?
Thank you. Again, thanks to all of our viewers and listeners. And I'm going to use my closing sort of judiciously and say again, we all have been saying this, but I just reiterate the point that I think diplomacy was the right way to go involving the situation in Foya. I mean, there's no question about it. So I'm glad that the situation seemed to have been resolved. The Guinean flag was taken down and the Liberian flag was hoisted. And lastly, I know this is something that we talked about earlier, at least Stanton talked about it before a majority of us came on, was the dirtiness of the city of Monrovia. I mean, it's appalling. We talk about this all the time, year in, year out. And I know Uncle Sam and I, who have been group talking about this and looking at a potential solution. There are a lot of problems with Monrovia, with the structure of Monrovia that makes it very difficult for these municipalities, whether they're in Gardnersville or Painesville, or municipalities around the country, to succeed. And we have to look into those structural problems, the way these cities are set up, or at least their structure, the way they're set up on paper, and the way things are done. That's a whole separate conversation. But we have to get a handle on the waste management system in the country. I mean, it's appalling. It is ugly. It is not going to attract investors when you have a dirty city like this. It is not going to make our people healthy. It's not going to attract visitors. So it falls right in the face, smack in the face of whole tourism program, and the whole tourism that we're trying to roll out. When you have a dirty city, no one's going to want to come to a city. So that issue has to be prioritized. It has to be addressed. I mean, we can talk about the incompetency of the mayors and all of that, but we have a problem that the government needs to address. We need the resources to ensure that these municipalities can keep the cities clean. Thank you, Jacob.
Thanks, Mr. Russell. Good point. Yes. So, Phoebe, or before Phoebe comes in, please, can we take T? I think T has to run, so let's hear his views because he's in country.
Thank you, Jacob. I really expected you to cut me off, but you didn't do that. You're a good gentleman. I appreciate it. Salute. Anyways, on a more serious note, on the issue of in Lofa with the Guinean soldiers, I think that the government handled this properly. I do strongly believe that there is still back channel diplomacy going on to make sure that this issue has gotten absolute closure. But I just want to give, on the issue of Councillor Kanga, Fene Kanga, I just want to give a view that is absolutely different from almost all of the views that we have heard on that issue tonight. I know Councillor Kanga very well. And the very idea that you, Jacob, or your buddy, what's his name, Kev Hassan, and then my man Phoebe, everybody who usually have different views. The very idea that tonight, and my man or Monkey Island, the idea that all of us can agree, or all of you guys can agree to one position on this, it should tell some of us to take this thing with a grain of salt. I know Councillor Kanga very well. I understand that preliminary investigation has been done, but those of you who have not worked with Councillor Kanga before, I ask you in the name of God to take a moment with your criticism, go beyond that report. This is a country where we have seen up to a report that say a man died from natural causes, only for us to go further invest our own resources to find out that that was a plan to cover up. This man we're talking about, if you don't know him, I urge you to take some time and go beyond, the report that's in the group chat. Because that man, if we got good Liberians, if we got people who care about their name, if we got people who stand on the side of integrity in this country, if such people still exist, Councillor Kanga is one of those. When you are in a system, and sometimes you disagree with people, I've seen a senior police officer, a DCP, Deputy Commissioner of Police, who I will not call her name here tonight, get set up where people who try to play corrupt, process or something, and he disagree with, they find a way over time to plan carefully and set him up and place a phone call, and he answer it. Oh, chief, or the money you're talking about, say when we pay to you, you get the marriage, the money. Oh, no, but anyway, the phone call, you want to wait to your play. Boom, hang up the phone. Record it, carry, boom, a play a pie investigate. This is a very interesting country that we all belong to. I'm not saying that Councillor Kanga is not wrong or guilty. but I'm also not saying that he is guilty. The years that I have known him and that he has contributed to our foundation work in this country, I've known him to be a man of integrity. I respect him tremendously.
Yeah. I think you made a point. So you repeated yourself. So I think that's a good one.
I need to go. I beg you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's
Okay. Look. On this whole thing about Guinea, I saw the press release that Stanton put in the press room there. The thing is, I don't know enough about it. Is this from a chain of command? Okay, is this from the Guinean high up, or are these rogue elements in grade? You're the military guy, okay? So you can maybe like educate us, and you are a high-ranking guy. Colonel Gray, are you listening? Okay. No, what I'm saying, okay, for something like that to happen, okay, it would have to come from the chain. So have the Liberian government been able to like speak, like the president of Liberia, speak to his counterpart, okay? And I'm sure the Guinean president is also the commander-in-chief of the Guinean Armed Forces, right? So were these orders from the Guinean president? Okay, how high up did this go, and what does it mean? What are they trying to accomplish? Because we don't even know anything about that. You know, maybe it could just be like some people with commercial interests that hired some soldiers, and the soldiers went to enforce some maybe mineral rights or something. Because I don't see in this day and age, what a Guinean president who's supposed to be educated, I know the guy, I think it's the French Legion or something, will try to go ahead and infringe upon the territorial integrity of Liberia, and he just got inaugurated. It doesn't appear that way. So I'd like to see more information coming from the Liberian government on where this is coming from. Is this an order on high, or these are rogue elements within the Guinean military? Okay. Second thing is this. This country is extremely corrupt. I've never lived in a country this corrupt, and I've lived in a lot of places. And the corruption here is evil, it's wicked. Anything that you try to do, people try to divest you. And the government is the biggest cash cow. So everybody get into the government, try to take as much as they can. But the thing that bothers me about what they don't take enough to live until they become 70 and 75. They always just take enough to buy a girlfriend a car, to have a cash flow. You know, and when they're no longer in that position, they start counting light poles. You know, they never think about the future.
Yeah, but Sam,
they never think about.
Sam Jazzy, can you learn quickly because we gotta go? We have only 1 minute. I don't know. So please conclude.
No. I'm saying no. What I'm trying to say is that this Finlay Kanga guy, what I mean, if he does something like that, that's not just corrupt. That's evil. You know, and there is no way that anybody can try to like make this pretty to say this guy didn't do it, because there was an investigation. There was an investigation. But then also how the president is handling this by writing this guy this letter and seeing this guy adheres to high ethical standards is very, very confusing. So the whole thing of corruption, we have to hit it on the head. We have to deal with it, because that is the number one reason for our abject poverty. And I want to thank you for listening to me.
Yeah, thank you, Sampi John. All right, Fubi. And then
so look, it was unfortunate, that we have Liberians had to wake up to that kind of news today, especially those that live right within that particular area in Lofa. It was very unfortunate, and that's a failure on the government. We can spin it all the way we want to spin it. We can say the government applied diplomacy and all that stuff. But that was a failure on the government. And it's a big shame on the country that that happened today, because it's not something that just woke up and happened in the morning. There is something that they knew that was in the pipeline. There is something that I knew that happened before. So the government should invest into the military of the country. You make all those money. Like, sadly, why you have people at the border encroaching on your country, taking down your flag and planting their flag. Lawmakers in our capital building fighting over gas slip and scratch car and project money. That should tell you how shameful our country is. We don't even know our priorities. And your citizens are vulnerable. And the guys are even saying, if you listen to the video, someone even posted in the channel that the citizens, the only way they can continue living there, they have to become Guinean citizens. You can imagine those kind of imposition on your citizens. Then we sit down, we cool, the government. Look, it's a failure on the government. And this is a long-standing issue that we know about. Have your securities patrolling your border points. You don't have to be at every small entry point, but the regular patrol is necessary. Have your camps. The money you waste on these lawmakers, the money you give to NSA, which they use for whatever purposes, put some of that money into the AFL. Other countries right in our own sub-region, they have military schools that they're training their people right in our own countries. We will not have that. You got a few people saying that they can casually or shuffling, eating chicken, and they can ready to come on the street and fight police. They should be patrolling those border points instead of being the city fighting police, beating people for their girlfriend business. They should be out. They should be to those different positions. So it's a shame on the country that we have to face this today as a nation. It's a big shame on the country. That should never happen, and it should not happen again. And so the government, whatever diplomacy they are employing to ensure that they handle it, they should do it better, and they should ensure that they invest into the military of the country, give these guys incentives, put these guys in the different butchers. They're where they should be. They're now security for the city, the security for the entire country, and they should man all these border points, the crossing points. They should be able to be around those points and ensuring the safety of the state. In terms of peace, you prepare for war. So they should have this kind of stuff. And the Guineans should also take note. They shouldn't be threatening and destabilizing the sub-region. And they encroach in Sierra Leone. Now they have done it in Liberia. The next week they might go to Africa or somewhere else, or Mali. And it's sad because they got their citizens all in these different countries, and we are all interrelated. Cross the different borders. You got brothers and sisters, uncles and aunties and cousins in all these. The Guinea Pele, the Mandingos, the Loma, the Kisses, all these, they are all related. And we live in both countries. So they should stop this kind of stuff in the sub-region. We should live in peace and enjoy the cordiality that we have as a people. And that's a shame on them. And to the Finlay Kanga stuff, look, if he actually did all those things that the investigation said he did, I don't think the president should have accepted a resignation. They should have dismissed him, like Emmanuel just said. You cannot have somebody with those kind of stuff, then you give them a clean slate. The resignation and accepting resignation with nice words is a different thing, as opposed to the investigation that was conducted on him. And on the issue of the code of conduct, I don't support the code of conduct in the first place, because the code of conduct was written just to please the lawmakers and against the appointed officials. For me, I told them to amend it or trash it, because it's not useful to the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Gray.
Jacob, thank you so much, my brother. I will hope Finlay Kanga will pursue any wrongful accusation against him, but until then, I will go with the report that allowing his resignation is not sufficient. Look, we don't deter enough. That's why people will resurface in other government, in other administration, and be reappointed to the same position. If it is true that what he did, that compel those kinds of personnel that are responsible for ethics to really serve some long prison time. I'm telling you. Imagine if the ombudsman that is responsible for ethics, can do that. What about the LACC guy or the Arab man? You understand? We don't have sufficient deterrent within our system. That's why we all make noise. When we gain the capacity, we'll do worse because nothing comes out of it. He's been dismissed or he's being allowed to leave. He's going to resurface someplace else. That's how it is. That's how our system thrives. But yes, I want to thank those people of Lofa, those kids, especially those youngsters who stood up and protect their nation against the invasion of foreign forces. But it's not sufficient. I've come on this platform before and cautioned authorities of the Ministry of Defense. Your job is not just to sit down there and play beauty or handsome. And what are your plans as defense minister? We have a very vibrant population, very young people that you can hire their skill, even if you're not deploying them, but bring them, incorporate them into your army. We have agriculture. We can beef that battalion, and some of these youngsters could earn while they're serving their country. If something like this were to break out, they will be the first resort. But also, we should elevate our civilian, unit. We have lots of former soldiers, people who have the skill, the expertise. They're languishing around. Put them in an all-civilian, all paramilitary, standby force, just in case. But I think the Minister of Defense and others, sometimes when we talk like this, people think we're looking for the job, but you're not there to play beauty. You just sit down there, look at something like this happen. What if you had, look, Hammarskjöld, the former UN, the UN chief, he said, war is the result of diplomatic failure. Not all the time diplomacy will work. This could have gone, the other way. What are we going to do? Fold our hands and start asking God? We have to be able to prepare for the worst. And I would say this is not going to, because this is not the first time those Guinea has claimed our land. People just don't know the history. This is not the first time. They came there before in the 70s. They almost took that place. And now they've gone. They've come back, several decades later. They will not stop because their objective is to make sure they get some of those rich and fertile area of our country and annex them to themselves so that, this was not done isolatedly. The president of the Republic of Guinea is fully aware. They were trying your strength. They have seen that you probably are helpless. They're going to come back. I hope the Minister of Defense will begin to encourage younger people to come into the army and serve, agriculture, wherever they want to serve, so that when this kinds of stuff happen, we'll have enough manpower to be able to deploy. Otherwise, we're a sorrowful country, and it should not be that way. I looked at that video today. I was angry. It was sad also. It looks like we're, a powerless nation that folded our hands, and people walk into a territory showing force. Look, we got to do something better. If you have a Minister of Defense who does not think, change it around, put somebody there, find someone with idea. I've not read anything on the World Wide Web to see what a plan, sir. Such a Minister of Defense in post-war country. What is the objective? What should you hope to accomplish? They just sitting down there beside you. Look at one innocent, beautiful, smiling face. That's it. Military is not something for beauty. It means something. And I've not seen it on her. I've not seen even the chief of staff. What are their plans? I've not read anything anywhere. Colonel Gregg could not have been there. Every now and then you read literature about how to enhance our national security. And some of us will take the lead. I'm not going to put some beautiful, innocent lady down there. They look at what happened to us today. It hurt me personally. I was sitting there looking at those guys.
Yeah, true.
We judge those people. But,
Yeah,
but Jacob, man, that's the country we have for ourselves.
yeah. Hopefully we can do.
Diplomacy
Hopefully we can do
today,
better.
but it might not happen all the time. Diplomacy might not work all the time, because you know what? Those guys, when they're coming back, if they can plant the national symbol on your soil, they're not done. They're coming back. And this time when they come back, they're not coming back with like you coming to have lunch with them. No, they're coming to actually to overrun your capacity and take your land from you. What can you do?
And I think I think the points across the room today has been all like very fascinating. So I think the government now, maybe they're doing that already, but they really need to intensify the engagement to ensure that such a thing don't happen again. Because to be honest, it was a very ugly scene, and I saw the video and everything. It was like, wow, what's going on here? Like citizens have to go there and almost like stick their neck on the line with those people who are armed to the teeth. And people were scared. Librarians, they didn't know initially the first set of video, and somebody was saying, we need to turn your motorbike around, we need to run away. Are they fighting war or something like that? So we can't abandon our people like that. I think the government needs to do more. And I agree with Fubi's point about increasing presence, especially to major border points. You need to have an immigration, you need to have, military presence. And if funding is the issue, we have a 1.2 billion budget. We need to invest our resources where our priorities are. We got to do that. Some of the new agencies coming up, we need to close some of these agencies down. And I saw some that in Senegal, right? They have a debt crisis, and they close about 9 ministries or agencies down and say, look, we don't need all these people. We invest in resources in meaningful areas. If we have to do some of that, we should do that. So we have to be, the government has to find a way to make people feel safe in the country. And if civilians are left on their own to take on people who are armed to the teeth, then it reduces trust in the government and all of that. So, guys.
Look, Jacob, Guinea could be targeting Wologizi, could be targeting a Western cluster. This is one of the richest geography of our country. You understand? Not something to play Yanka with. This kind of stuff. I'm telling you.
Yes. You guys, we as the government has to get very intentional. You're not going to leave it. You got to ensure. You got to follow up. You got to ensure that this doesn't happen again. And then draw some kind of diplomatic red lines to say we can accept this. If this happens, it's unacceptable.
True.
Yeah, so I think
I agree, Jacob. The diplomatic red lines, which is very fascinating, is we may not have the ammunition, but we have one of the most powerful diplomatic pathways, the UN Security Council. Countries that don't even have a seat on the council, the minimum encroachment you make on their border, they'll register an emergency meeting at the UN Security Council, which we need to activate ours. That's one of our cards. The card is we are on the council, we are non-permanent members on the council. If there's an encroachment on our border, we have the right to call emergency meeting because it's a violation of the UN Charter or specifically on sovereignty. That's a big violation on international law to encroach into someone's border without any kind of pathway. The truth is, we might talk about all the diplomatic measure here. This is a serious issue. There's no way to play politics about it. In any international setting, an encroachment on a border warrant an international violation. And that means Liberia have a right to sue Guinea. Liberia has a right to take Guinea to ECOWAS court. They have a right to take Guinea to the highest possible court, which we have privilege to sit on the UN Security Council. But again, as usual, we just say, let's talk about these things and stuff.
I agree. We need, as a country, we need to press for some kind of accountability from the Guinean authorities.
Yes.
They have to be made to explain what this happened. And it has to be made absolutely clear. And I think the government also needs to continue to provide more details to the population.
I read the information ministry report. It doesn't provide anything. Just saying the situation on calm, the president is communicating. There's not. This is a declaration of an act of war in any modern state. Fundamentally, in any modern state, an encroachment into a border without any kind of validation or approval is a declaration of war. We're seeing that in Korea, we're seeing that in the US, we see that in Iran. That's how countries build their sovereignty. The minimum kind of measure you provide to this thing, you provide a gateway to have more escalation. Because this is a testing method. Liberia is not the only country. Sierra Leone, getting encroaching the Sierra Leone border. Sierra Leone actions were far more decisive than what we have here. And the truth here is that we may be able to say, oh, the president have resolved this. Young people, it took young people at the border to put our flag up. There should be military personnel at our border. Are we asking typical, very critical question? Where is the military? Or do we have military support at the border? Do we have protection for even Liberian citizens? We're talking about in the heart of the president home, FOIA. So for me, it's just concerning. We may say all the things I want to say, but today, Guinea declare a war on Liberia is an other declaration of war, a warrant of violation. We hope the government can take this to the ECOWAS court, subsequently register an international violation of international laws at the UN Security Council, and ensure that this cannot repeat itself. If Guinea see this kind of measure, they'll be very careful to engage Liberia. Other countries will be very careful. The other thing I feel like we're not taking into consideration is we are currently in the age of international terroristic act. In the Sahel region today, as we speak, there is increasing coup d'etat, the militarization of political leadership. In fact, the country we are speaking about was formerly militarily annexed, and transition to a democratic state. So these are rare lands you have to be able to read about and understand the dangers at stake. And for me, we don't have the military weight, we don't have the power, but we have one of the best cards in the world. It's a non-permanency on the Security Council, which means we have a privilege to register some of these aggression.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think great points today, guys. So Nelson, I'll just turn things over to Nelson, and then tomorrow is holiday here, so I'm not sure we're gonna have a show. So
Jacob, we're having program here, man. Go to Calabash, man. There where you rushing to go?
I'll just let you guys with.
Tomorrow is decoration day, so they're gonna start a decoration tonight.
Live celebration, man.
Hey, something about the Calabash that was our countryman today, man. Gentlemen, later.
Well, folks, we want to say thanks to all of you for being here tonight. It's been a great show. Thanks to our viewers, thanks to our listeners across the world. Spoon Talk will be back on the radio tomorrow. Until then, have a good night. I'm Nelson Collet. And tomorrow, let's say, okay, so we have like 17 minutes to the next day. So tomorrow is Decoration Day. As you go about it, let's bear in mind that there's a circular or some sort of announcement from the Liberian National Police. There was a release out today that individuals going at those different cemeteries to honor the memories of their loved ones should avoid or stay away from alcohol, And so apparently we're going to have folks from the LMP at some of the major cemeteries tomorrow to ensure that people are not drinking liquor in the simplest Liberian way. That nobody drinking liquor to the graveyard tomorrow. If you go and do your decoration, you can drink a soft drink. You drink Kool-Aid, or you could drink anything non-alcoholic, but stay away from alcoholic beverages as you get involved with the observance of the Decoration Day tomorrow. But thanks a lot for being here with us, Spoon Talk tonight. I'm Nelson Collet. Have a good night and bye for now.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, Stan coming with the spoon. And your boy.
To get your